Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being patient. Any overflow people in the hallway, if you want to go upstairs and sit in the upper balcony, help yourself, and you can just come down prior to, if you want to make any comments to an item that we're going to go according to the list on the agenda, so you kind of know where we're going to be. Okay? Then you can be a little bit more comfortable up there if you want. So my name is Donna Colorio. I am the chair of the Parking and Traffic. It is Monday, November 17th, and you're here for the speed hump for District 1. I hope you're all here for that. Okay, good. Okay, so before I begin, I'll just introduce my colleague here, Jenny Pasillo. She's a District 1 counselor. I have AJ Pottle in back of me clerking for the meeting. I also have Commissioner Raleigh, who was here. And I'm not sure if this Commissioner Raleigh. AJ, do we have either of the Worcester PD online? Well, if
Madam
they do,
Chair, I'm going through, we do have quite a few calling
okay,
individuals tonight, but I will find them.
No, don't even bother. We'll find them if we need them. We're not going to stop the meeting for that. Okay, so we might have Worcester PD on the line virtually. Okay, so the first thing is, could we have a roll call, please, AJ?
Councilors King, Pasillo,
Here.
and Chairperson Councilor Colorio.
Here. Okay, the next item is, can you please read virtual attendance call-in information, Mr. Clark?
Certainly, Madam Chair. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, in order to ensure active public engagement, the City of Worcester currently allows for both in-person and remote participation in all of its meetings. To come in, you can simply come into the meeting location, or you can join via Zoom. The Zoom link is listed on the Granicus portal of the city's website. There's also a phone number, and that phone number is 1-646-828-7666, and the access code tonight is 161-411-9888. We would also make sure folks know we are going through this agenda kind of item by item. So if you are using the online functions, we ask that you use the raise hand option when you would like to be heard on a particular item. To use the raise hand function, you can either hit the bottom center of the screen, or if you're on a phone, you would dial *9. And again, please only raise your hand when the item that you would like to speak on is before the committee. Thank you.
And I'm just joined by Councilor King, my colleague. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a brief, quick overview of what we're doing here. So this is an opportunity for the people in District 1 to voice their opinion about suggestions that have been brought up in the last year of speed humps, whether you're for or against it. So we're going to go through each item separately. We are not going to rule on these items. What we're going to do at the end of the meeting, I'm going to make an all rule for all the items to be filed. And what we'll do is Councilor Pasillo will be taking notes. Also to Steve Raleigh, Commissioner, will be taking notes as well. And at the end of all of this, probably around December or January, Steve gets together with the District 1 Council, who will be Tony Economo, because Jenny's stepping down, and he will go over what the suggestions based on the public input and other factors that will factor in. So tonight is important because you get to voice how you feel about it. I'm going to ask you, though, we're going to limit this to as quick as you can make your testimony, in case we have 100 people online. So I want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to speak. So, even if you came up and said, everybody said everything I needed to say, I'm for it, thank you, or I'm against it, thank you. I'd appreciate that, so we can kind of speed through this. Okay, so can we have an approval of the minutes? A roll call, please.
Councilors King,
Yes.
Pasillo,
Yes.
and Chairperson Councilor Colorio.
Yes. Okay, so we have item number 3A. Could you read that for me, Mr. Clerk?
Of course, Madam Chair. Thank you. And for the record, too, Councilor-elect Economo is also in attendance tonight.
Okay, great.
Item 3A, Councilor Jenny Pasillo requests Yukon Ave be reviewed for potential traffic calming measures, including the installation of speed humps.
Now, I'll ask if anybody here wants to speak on this item. I'll look over the room. Raise your hand if oh, come on down. Yes, we're on number 3A. Okay, so if anybody wants to speak on 3A Yukon Ave, speed humps, come up to the microphone or raise your hand so I know you want to speak on this. Okay? Can we check and see if anybody virtual wants to speak on this, AJ?
Madam Chair, at this time, no one is raising their hand for Yukon Ave.
Okay, I'm just looking around. Jenny, if you see anybody either, just let me know because there's a lot of people here. Okay, thank you. We're going to go on to 3B. Mr. Clerk, can you please read it?
Certainly. 3B, Councilor Jenny Pasillo requests installation of speed humps on Barry Road.
Anybody here for Barry Road? Barry Road. Can we check a virtual?
Madam Chair, we do have a couple folks raising their hand for Barry Road.
Okay, great. Can you put them through?
So the first person I can identify has a phone number ending in 7170. We'd ask that you please provide your full name, city or town of residence prior to beginning your testimony. Thank you.
Are you going to do like a...
7170. All right, Madam Chair, not hearing from that person. We will go to, it looks like Mark Bornstein.
Good evening. Can you guys hear me okay?
You're a little muffled, Mr. Bornstein.
Hold on. Is that better?
Not really.
No? Hold on a second.
Oh,
How about that? Is that better?
It's a little
a
better.
little bit better.
Not sure if
All right, hold on.
audio can get a little louder in the room.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm driving to the city hall, so forgive me. So thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be brief. We have a pretty significant issue on Barry Road, as I've expressed to this board, or commission rather, multiple times. We have quite a bit of traffic, as Mr. Raleigh knows from his assessments of the street. On Barry Road, Linwood, the entire journey from Chester Street to Barry Road. I would respectfully request that the intersection of Barry and Linwood be prioritized. My dog was nearly hit by a car, kind of grazed a year and a half ago or so. It's very dangerous. And my hope is that some speed humps would calm traffic, especially at that intersection. I don't know, from a traffic engineering perspective, maybe Mr. Raleigh could opine on this as to whether or not that would be permissible or advisable, but certainly at the intersection and then the stretch down Barry Road as the street straightens. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Madam Chair, I'm just going to briefly try and go back to 7170, see if we can get them to unmute now. Not hearing from 7170. There's another person ending in 8217. Just sent the request for them to unmute, and that is for Barry Road. Madam Chair, it doesn't appear either user is able to get through at this time. Oh, 8217.
That's me. I live on Barry Road, or right around Barry Road.
And could you could we please have your full name?
Yeah, Peter Barty.
Thank you.
Okay. I live at 2 Hidden Pond Drive. You know, Barry Road has so many patches and potholes. I don't think we need speed bumps. It's, you know, it's pretty rugged to drive very fast. I don't know if you've been on that road, but it's really, really tough. So I'm opposed to putting in any kind of speed bump. So.
Very good. Thank you.
Yep.
Madam Chair, that's everyone raising their hand at this time.
Thank you. Okay. So can we go to the next item, Mr. Clerk?
Certainly. Item 3C, Counselor Jenny Pasillo requests installation of speed humps in the vicinity of 111 to 114 Berry Road.
That's
Perhaps
pretty
a continuation.
Yeah, that's a redundant item, but it's a little bit more specific. So we can, if we don't have anybody online, then we can move right along.
Very good. So the next item we have listed is 3D. Counselor Jenny Pasillo requests installation of speed humps on St. Nicholas Ave. St. Nicholas Ave.
Anybody here for St. Nicholas Ave? You guys are for one item, I know, all of you. You've St. Nicholas Ave? You can come up to the microphone, and you can state if you're, you can just state if you don't want to really speak, you can just say you're for or against it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so you're for it. Okay. We are going to write that down. Thank you. Okay, anybody else for Barry Road? I mean, for St. Nicholas Road? Okay, can we check and see if anybody's online?
Madam Chair, there are multiple people raising their hands. The first person I can identify is Julie Camfield. I just sent a request for Julie to unmute.
Hi, this is Julie.
Hi, Julie. State your testimony whether you're for or against speed humps on St. Nicholas Ave.
I'm hoping that we mean between Quinnipoxet and Clark, and I would be for them. Cars repeatedly drive very fast down that section.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
The next person I can identify lists Sophie. If we could just have your full name.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can, yes.
We can.
Good evening. My name is Sophie Straubel, and I live on St. Nicholas Avenue. I'm calling in to express my strong support for installing permanent speed humps on our street. St. Nicholas Avenue has a history of dangerous traffic incidents. When the temporary speed humps were installed over the summer, I noticed an immediate reduction in speeding along that section of the road. Combined with the new stop sign at St. Nicholas and Clark, the street felt much safer both as a driver and a pedestrian. Now that the temporary speed humps have been removed, I'm already noticing a significant uptick in dangerous speeding. I strongly support making the speed humps permanent and urge the committee to expand these measures along the full length of St. Nicholas Avenue on both sides of Clark Street. These additions are essential to improving safety for everyone who uses this road. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Brian. If we could just have your full name prior to testimony. Hello, Brian. Brian. Not hearing from Brian.
Hello? Can you hear me?
No, we can hear you now.
Okay, good. Sorry about that.
State your full name and city of residence in your testimony, please.
Yes, my name is Brian McKenna. I live on St. Nicholas Avenue, and I actually do agree with both Julia and Sophie. Removing those speed humps was an immediate detriment. I moved in last year, and I noticed when they came in, it was reducing the speeding. However, I do want to add that possibly adding them between Clark and Squantum. I live in that area, and I do notice that people, as soon as they come over the hump near Squantum and go down into the divot where it kind of bends down and comes back up, people accelerate there. I live there where there is no sidewalk as well, so going outside, walking a pet, seeing other people walking pets, it is quite dangerous. So I do really believe in having these speed humps. However, perhaps adding another or spreading them out would be a lot safer, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Chair, that's the last person raising their hand at this time.
Okay, thank you. Can we go on to E, please?
3E, Counselor Jenny Pasillo requests installation of speed humps on Honeywell Road. Honeywell Road.
Anybody here for Honeywell Road? Can we check online, please?
Madam Chair, we do have, it looks like one resident, a couple residents now. Carla, if we could just have your full name prior to your testimony.
Yes, my name is Carla Busky. Can you hear me?
We can,
We
yes.
can.
Okay, cool. I live at 43 Honeywell Road and have lived here for 23 years. In the time that I've been here, I've never really experienced maybe half a dozen people speeding down the road. The road is full of patch potholes, divots.
Mile long.
It's only a quarter mile long. To get there's patches and everything. So to get over 25 miles an hour is really not that we don't see people doing that. I've never experienced any accidents, any car accidents, any people getting hit, any animals getting hit. People walk. It's a very quiet residential neighborhood, and people walk their dogs up and down the street, take walks. I am opposed to it. And I'd also like to, I looked through the attachments and I did see one for a petition for it. And I'm just curious because there was no signatures at all on the petition. So I was wondering where and how this came about.
So I'll
Thank
just, Carla, I can just answer that question quickly. You don't
Great.
need a list of signatures in order to put a petition together. You can just put it on as a single person. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you for that explanation. I appreciate it.
you're welcome. Do we have anybody else virtual?
Madam
Mr.
Chair, the next
Clerk?
person I can identify, it says Lisa's iPad. If we could just have Lisa's full name, please, prior to testimony.
Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Okay, my name is Lisa Blanchard. I actually live on the corner of Brooks and Honeywell, and I would love to have speed bumps put on our street. I am a person who walks my dog, and I have come close to being hit by cars because of the speed that people are flying down our street. But I'm also concerned because there's a school behind us. Norback Avenue School is behind us, and kids are walking to and from school every day, and they just fly down the street. So I'm really hoping that speed bumps will deter these people from speeding.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That's the last person raising their hand at this time.
Thank you. Okay, can we go on to F, please? AJ?
3F, Alex Fernandez Diaz et al. Requests installation of speed humps by the crosswalks at the entrance of Norback Elementary School located at 44 Malden Street.
Anybody here for that item? Can you come up to the microphone, please? State your name and city of residence
Yeah,
and...
Richard Froggett. I've
Okay.
done 4 generations in Worcester.
Okay, and you for or against this?
I'm against it.
Okay,
I-
now give me your
I had a short
testimony.
thing I wrote out about Malden Street.
Sure.
Yeah, what I would be, look, I agree to traffic safety and all that, very important. I had a 15-year-old cousin killed in a school zone. I get it. But people I know are not really for the speed bumps. But what I would like to see at Malden Street School is the flashing lights that say 20 miles per hour. I would like a marked crosswalk that has an on-demand push button. You go 3 miles away over to West Boylston, you can see that. And then occasionally, there could be a police officer there, maybe, maybe not. So if you put the speed bumps at the school, Norback School,
Right.
they're speeding all the way from Pinecroft at the West Boylston
Right.
line all the way down there. Those flashing signs that, turn red when you go over the speed limit, those are a good deterrent also. But like I say, so the policing, a serious school zone. You go to any town around here, and they're not speeding through the school zones, because you don't know if the cop's
So
there or not.
you're in agreement with some traffic calming measures, but
Yeah,
you don't think that
definitely.
the
I think
speed
that-
humps will be,
People are not careful around school zones in this area in general, or school buses for that matter. I
yes,
think
that's
it's a
very, which
serious
is,
issue.
it is a serious issue.
A kid can come out blindly behind a school bus, I'm totally with you,
Okay,
I
well,
just wanted
that's
to-
good
just wanted to say
suggestions.
One more thing.
Yes, go ahead.
I doubt that anybody came here today at 25 miles per hour or less, which is the citywide law. I wanted to
Okay,
make-
we're not going to talk about that.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
And
well, that's fine. Thank you
that's
for
it.
the suggestions. We'll put a note on that.
And I should, all right.
Okay. Okay, no, that's another subject. Right, okay. Fred, you're here
Fred
for
Nathan, Worcester.
Norback School?
What's that?
You're here for Norback School?
I'm here for all of them.
Okay,
I'm going to do them all collectively. There's about 50-odd items here, all dealing with speed humps, bumps, whatever you want to call them. I think you're giving the people of Worcester a false sense of safety.
Okay, thank you. All right, so, all right. Do we have anybody else?
Madam Chair, we have a couple folks online, if you'd like me to go to
Okay,
them. The first person I can identify is Melissa Joubert. Just sent a request to unmute now.
Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
yes.
Okay. So I myself live on Malden Street. Myself being a second generation, my kids now being a third generation, have lived in the same home since the mid 80s. Since 2012, we've had 4 vehicles totaled, parked outside on the street by speeders. So they've, at 2 separate occasions, 2 vehicles were totaled, and at another third occasion, 2 vehicles together collectively were totaled by speeders, as well as 2 pets that were hit by cars on the road. So we only live a couple houses from Norback. I see the kids crossing. I see, like, myself went to Norback, my kids went to Norback. I see the kids kind of fearful when traveling on the sidewalks with their families, not even during school hours, but outside of school hours, just because the high volume of traffic. Like one of the other people had said, they do cut through to go towards West Boylston. They do get like a start at the Summit Hill, fly down the hill and go towards West Boylston, and they do it in the opposite direction. And I think like these speed bumps would be beneficial in multiple areas, but especially in the school zone. So I am for it, 100%, and I couldn't be any more for it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else, a virtual?
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Emily Matthews. Just sent a request to unmute now.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
We can.
Hi, so I'm Emily Matthews. I have lived in Worcester for over 20 years. I'm actually a paraprofessional at Norback Avenue School, and I am absolutely for these speed bumps, especially because Norback is a hub school now, which means we house a lot of special ed students from all over Worcester, and they are at an even greater risk for these safety issues. So I absolutely am for the speed bumps. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next person I can identify has a phone number ending in 6050. I just sent a request to unmute.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Sue Richardson, and I live on Winifred Ave, so it's a different than the school road that you were just speaking of. And I'm here because I got notice that someone had requested.
Okay, we're not on that
Speed
item
bump.
quite yet. We're not on Winifred Ave.
Oh, okay. I thought it was for anyone. I'm sorry.
No, but it looks like about
Is
maybe about 10 or 15 minutes we'll be on Winifred.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will be back on mute if you can.
Thank you. Thank you.
Madam Chair, no one else is raising their hand at this time on this
Okay.
item.
Thanks. Okay, I'm going to ask my colleagues if we can have a vote on suspending the rules. We have a father in the front row here with some small children, and I'm I'm sure you guys don't mind if I go to one, if I jump and take another item just out of, because then he has the children here, then he can get home and get them fed and everything, if you don't mind. Okay, so can I have a roll call on suspending the rules?
Councilors King,
Yes.
Pasillo,
Yes.
and Chairperson Councilor Calorio.
Yes, okay, so I'm going to jump to 3V. Could you read that for me? V as in Victor?
Councilor Jenny Pasillo, on behalf of Sarah Blodgett, requests Burncoat Street be reviewed to determine the feasibility of installing speed tables on the street. Again, Burncoat Street.
Okay, Burncoat Street, we'll have this dad right here, come on up and testify then if anybody else, if you're gonna, if you're already up there, I see you. Yeah, come on down. Okay, go ahead, state your name and city of residence.
Nathan Johnson, and I live
Okay.
on Burncoat.
Okay, Nathan, are you for or against the speed bumps?
I'm against. lived there for 10 years, and it's a constant source for all emergency vehicles to go through that street. There are sidewalks on both sides. People don't tend to speed a lot, there's a lot of traffic. But snowplows as well as emergency vehicles are always going down that street. And if the speed bumps come through, it'd be really a hindrance for them.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for being patient. Appreciate it. You're welcome. Okay, any more Burncoat people?
Madam,
Yes, come on up to the microphone. State your name, city of residence, and you're either for or against this item.
Good evening. My name is David Shea. I grew up on Gunnison Road, and I now live at 464 Burncoat Street for the last 40 years. So being in the neighborhood, I am an expert on the traffic on Burncoat Street.
You're the mayor of Burncoat Street, right?
Some would say. No,
Okay.
not at all. Oh, posted speed limit now is 25 miles an hour. No big deal. My question is, to justify this, how many speeding citations have been issued in the last 2 years on Burncoat Street? How often does it become necessary to set up traffic enforcement on Burncoat Street? How many automobile accidents involving speed have occurred on Burncoat Street in the last 2 years? How many personal injuries due to speed have occurred on Burncoat Street in the last 2 years? And how many property damage accidents due to speed have occurred on the street in the last 2 years? These are things we need to know to see if this is indeed a justified installation of speed bumps. Police patrols in the Burncoat area at night is practically nil. Installing speed bumps will only serve to slow the arrival to an emergency. Engine 8, which is housed on Burncoat Street, is the primary respondent in the area, and its speed bumps will only slow the response to life-threatening emergencies where moments can save a life. The recent resurfacing of Burncoat Street has provided new street markings with marked crosswalks and traffic signage, including bike lanes and, again, traffic signage, which more than alerts drivers to be in constant regard of their speed. The addition of speed bumps will only interfere with the safe operation of motor vehicles using the streets. Like I said, if I'm waiting for Engine 8 to come and resuscitate me, I certainly want them to get there as fast as they can.
So you are opposed?
I am opposed to any speed bumps in any form being installed on Burncoat Street.
Okay, that's great, but what I'd like you to also do is maybe you can get in touch with your district councilor, Jenny, at some point, and make, that you had a nice order there. You could put that in the form of an order for the city council about all the questions that you wanted answered.
Thank you, I will do that.
Okay, you don't mind, Jenny, do you? Okay,
On my
okay.
way home, I will avoid all the zombies.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay. Okay, so can we, anybody else for Burncoat Street? And then we'll go to virtual. Okay, AJ, can we go virtual?
Madam Chair, the first
Oh,
person.
oh, come on up. Okay, just, can you, yeah. Okay, come on up to the microphone, and I'll have the commissioner.
For the V on Burncoat Street, not that I think that it needs a speed hump there, but it says speed table. Is that what they're being asked, the speed
Okay.
table versus speed hump?
Okay.
What's the difference?
Commissioner, could you go through the difference between speed tables and speed humps?
Madam Chair, so a speed table is a more gradual form of a vertical traffic control device, so a more gradual version of a speed hump that has a little bit less rise and is spread out over a longer distance, so it's more gradual. And they're more appropriate for a busier street such as Burncoat. So I believe, Councilor Pasillo, I don't want to put words, I believe this was your petition, so you had specifically requested the consideration of a speed table in this case, which if a proposal for this type of traffic calming device were to go forward would be the more appropriate style.
Commissioner, could you just give us one example, or maybe two, of where we have speed tables in the city of Worcester? So if anybody wanted to figure out, you know.
Madam Chair, so we don't have any permanent speed tables at this time. We do have two temporary ones that have been installed on Holden Street that could give you an indication of what those are
Holden
like.
Street, yes, I know. Yep. And the
And
other one is,
the speed tables are designed so that you can travel them at the speed limit comfortably, so 25 miles per hour.
okay. So that's the difference between, that was a great question. And it's also to, if you go down Holden Street, if you haven't been down Holden Street, you can see how it's a gradual incline as opposed to a more, on the speed humps, they're a little bit more aggressive. Okay? All right. You're welcome. Good question. Okay, do we have anybody else virtual? Or does anybody else want to speak that's in the audience? Okay.
Madam Chair, the first person I can identify online is Allison Askiker. Just sent a request to unmute.
Hello. I'm Allison Asacker, and I live on Burncoat Street over by the high school. I can tell you every day that I am home, I see cars flying by, and especially when I'm out in the yard, I sometimes say something to the people that are going way too fast. Even though the streets have been redone, they look wonderful. We have bicycle lanes, and before school and after school, parents are parking in the bicycle lanes, and it's making it hard for people in the crosswalks to be able to cross safely because cars are trying to get around the cars that are parked, and it gets very congested, which I can understand that people don't want the speed tables because you need to get from point A to point B. But if we're in a school zone, they should not be flying down the roads, and they're not going 25 miles an hour, I'll tell you that. I have videos of it even on my phone and our camera, whatever. Anyway, point is, I am for it. We've had people hit a tree in our yard because they were speeding. I don't want to I don't want to have to go outside and help somebody. I don't want to see anybody get hurt, any dogs, any people, any kids. I really think people need to slow down, and if they're not willing to put in speed tables, at least try to implement something else. There used to be a lot of police officers parked at the schools, keeping an eye on things, and I haven't seen them for quite a while. So I really hope something gets done to keep people safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Cheyenne Hamill.
Hello, I'm Cheyenne Hamill, also live on Burncoat Street. I would like to speak against the speed table proposition, also for the reasons previously cited about emergency vehicles.
Okay.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Greg O. I just sent a request to unmute Greg.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
We can.
Great. Yeah, hi, my name is Greg Opperman. I live on Escadilla Road off of Burncoat, and I support these speed tables. I definitely understand what other people have said about emergency vehicles. I did some quick research. If you use offset speed tables, that does not inhibit emergency vehicles, so that would be something to look into. Speed tables are fundamentally different from speed bumps, and they would not slow emergency vehicles, and they would provide a lot more safety to the residents and people who go to school around the Burncoat area, so I support this.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Tom Leith. I just sent a request to unmute Tom.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Tom Leith. I live on Thornton, just off of Burncoat, and I'm here primarily to speak to that, but I'm also in favor of the speed tables on Burncoat. And I would just add, as an emergency physician, and as somebody who is an EMT for 15 years, I don't think that concerns about emergency vehicle response times are a legitimate barrier here. I don't think that it would meaningfully interfere with emergency vehicle operations. And I think that I and most people working in emergency departments and emergency services in Worcester would much rather have to take care of fewer people, fewer children who have been hit and killed by cars than potentially arrive 1 to 2 seconds slower at an emergency. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Avanel Chang. I just sent a request to unmute now.
I'm kind of busy right now, but I'm also against having the speed tables on Burncoat Street, as well as I have to leave soon. So can I mention also Ascadilla? Ascadilla is a very quiet sub-street that we're on, and I don't think a speed table is necessary on that street as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next person I can identify is Jay Blodgett. I just sent a request to unmute now.
Hi, this is Sarah Blodgett. I'm here with my husband, James. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Sarah.
We are residents of 354 Burncoat Street, and we're in favor of the speed tables. We were asked to put on here tonight to speak about this. I guess my first question, just in listening to others that are either in favor or against, would be regarding speeding violations. I am curious. I have no idea what the statistics are on that because we don't have. So for me, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating anything that's already been said because I did come into this meeting a little late. But we don't have any committed signage on our street regarding the citywide speed limit of 25 miles per hour. Any signage that we do have is like laminated temporary signs. So I don't know that might be something that is also looked into because I don't see that is being reinforced or enforced by the police. So people do speed down the street, and my concerns include, this is a very busy street, not only for traffic, but for foot traffic. People walk their dogs, children walk back and forth to school. We have the new bike lane that a lot of, I've seen kids when I'm on my way to go to work to get to a school in the morning are using with electric scooters or bikes. And the way people drive has just become increasingly worse in the 11 years that I've lived here. There are also, it's not just Burncoat High School that's on the street. We have like 6 schools that are either directly on Burncoat Street or very close by. There's Burncoat Prep, there's Burncoat Middle, Burncoat High, there's Thorndike Road, there's the college.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else on the virtual?
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify, looks like it just says name. If you could please provide your full name prior to testimony.
Is that me?
That's you.
Yes.
Okay. So I am not just on Bay State, but I am also like a person in the neighborhood. My name is Courtney Reed.
Thank you. And are you for or against it on the speed tables on Burncoat Street?
So I am for all of the speed tables because I was actually on this because of the Bay State stuff. We have multiple kids that are very young that play all the time, which is, I think, developmentally amazing. And they go out into the roads, and we don't have anything that stops anything on Bay State. To be perfectly honest, if anyone drives on Bay State, there's no stop sign. There is a stop sign for Squantum. There's a stop sign for Brigham, I think, is the other one. We are 2 houses off of that like interchange, and I have actually gone out multiple times in the last few years to deal with car accidents. And that's like not that's not dealing with kids, but I have voiced my opinion multiple times to get something there for the kids. It's a walking area for the kids who go to Thorndike or to Burncoat Prep, I think, or to Wauwikis, I think. But actually, like in Burncoat, obviously middle and high school. And it's very interesting that there's really very little walking situations for them. And people speed, like really speed. and we have been voicing our opinion for years.
Thank you, Courtney.
This is the first time that we're heard.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is John Deedy. I just sent a request to unmute now.
Hi, I'm John Deedy. I'm over on Burncoat Street as well. And I am for the speed tables. Cars go racing up and down Burncoat Street, sometimes day or night, particularly in the summertime, it's really bad. At the corner of Quinnipox and Burncoat, cars will be inching their way out, and cars will be barreling down Burncoat Street coming from the summit, and they'll nick them, and they'll spin the car coming out of Quinnipox, and they'll land right in front of the pizza parlor. So yeah, I'm in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify has a phone number ending in 7059. I just sent a request to unmute. Again, 7059. Just sent a request to unmute. All right, not hearing that person. I do believe that brings us to the end of this item.
Okay, can we continue with the agenda on 3G, please?
Certainly, Madam Chair. 3G reads, Councilor Jenny Pasillo requests installation of temporary speed humps on Thornton Road.
State your name, city of residence, and your testimony.
Hi, I'm Dawn Peterson, and I'm at Marianne Drive in Worcester, and worked out nicely the way things were moved around because our neighborhood is a great cut-through off Burncoat Street, so people in the morning and afternoon when there's traffic congestion and buses, people come down our neighborhood and kind of cut down and get around the traffic. It also happens to be the same walking route that my kids get to the bus stop in the morning and in the afternoon, or whether they're riding their bike. There's lots of kids in the neighborhood that are taking that route, and I am for these speed bumps so that people slow down as they're trying to avoid the Burncoat traffic, so that kids in the neighborhood and dog walkers and walkers alike don't have to dodge speeding cars.
Thank you. Any virtual attendees?
I'm sure first person I can recognize is Jennifer. Just sent a request to unmute. If we could just have your full name.
Yes, hi. My name is Jennifer Bielkin, and I've lived on both sides of Thornton Road for 32 years. And although we get a lot of traffic in the morning, I don't ever have a problem with speeders on my street. I had 2 kids go to Burncoat Middle, Burncoat High School, and I am against the speed bumps on our street.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is, let's see, it looks like Ron. I just sent a request to unmute Ron. See, Madam Chair, not hearing from Ron. Looks like Christina Peters. Just sent a request to unmute to Christina. Doesn't appear that's going through. The next person I have is Tom Leith. Oh, Christina looks like it came through.
I can yield to Christina if she wants to go first.
Okay, hello?
Yep, we can hear you, Christina.
Okay, yes, I live on Varney Street, 11 Varney Street. And I think it's very important, actually, to, my husband and I both do. We've been living here for about 17 years, and it has been nonstop traffic with racing cars up and down the street here. I've seen a lot of animals get hit by cars, especially dogs. I think speed bumps would be a fantastic idea. I've asked years ago if this was something that could be, implemented. So my husband and I are definitely for it. And that, again, is Christina and Joel Peters from 11 Varney Street.
Thank you. Tom?
So again, I'm Tom Leith, I live on Thornton, and I just want to echo the concerns about people using our street as a cut around for traffic at Burncoat High School. There is a no turn onto Dennis Road sign off of Burncoat that is for the hours when kids are getting dropped off and picked up at school. That's clearly intended to prevent people from using Thornton as a way of cutting from Burncoat around to Randolph. And in the years that I've lived here, I have never once seen that enforced. I and my wife walk our dog every morning, and on numerous occasions have been almost hit by cars going 30 to 40 miles an hour down a street that has parking on both sides and no sidewalks. So pedestrians are essentially forced to walk down the middle of the street. As Dawn mentioned, there are a number of kids in the neighborhood who walk to the schools on Burncoat from Thornton and other schools in the neighborhood. And I truly think it's just a matter of time until a child is killed in front of my house, unless there are traffic calming measures implemented. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Allison Asacker again. Sorry, just since the wrong person. Allison.
Hi, I'm back. I just also agree with Tom. So I live at 188 Burncoat, and we're on the corner of Burncoat and Dennis Drive. I am one of those many people that walk my dog and go for a walk on Thornton. And I feel like, especially during the school hours before and after, parents are all parked there, and then they're trying to get around the traffic on Burncoat, and they absolutely cut down Dennis and Thornton. And I mean, I've had to go that way too because I can't even get down Burncoat because it's so congested. But they definitely cut through. They definitely fly down that road. There are lots of children. There's no sidewalks on Dennis Drive and Thornton. So that's also an issue to try to keep the kids safe, because there are a lot of kids that walk to school and walk home, and lots of people walking their dogs and older people out every morning walking. So that is a concern, and I am for the speed tables.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, no one else is raising their hand for this item at this time.
Okay, can we go on to H, please?
Councilor Jenny Pasillo requests installation of speed humps on Parkton Ave.
Come on up to the microphone. State your name and city of residence, and if you're for or against this item.
John Atlas, resident of Parkton Ave, Worcester.
Okay.
I'd like to address this as a definite affirmative for speed humps on Parkton Ave, specifically addressing the section between 122A and Chester Street, running westbound, as opposed to the unimproved section of Parkton Ave, which is down the other end of 122A and down towards Holden Street. That's not a public street. So I'd like to make sure we specifically look at the section between 122A and Chester Street. This is a thoroughly residential area with no sidewalks, and it's at the base of a hill coming down from Chester Street, from the water tower. I'm sure you're all familiar with that.
Mm-hmm.
And that just exacerbates the speed at which traffic approaches from Chester Street, as well as around from West Chester Street. And by the time it comes off the intersection, the motorists are at a roughly average of 35 to 55 miles an hour. The traffic flow is very high, especially during the commuting hours in the morning and in the afternoon. And I've seen several people walking without the benefit of the sidewalks, biking without the benefit of the sidewalks. There's been many, many close calls. And as you come up Parkton heading westbound, it is a blind curve and a blind hill before they reach the intersection with Chester Street. So I would ask that this be approved and installed as quickly as possible to prevent further possibility of injury and God forbid, fatalities. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, John. Anybody else? Okay, come on up.
definitely, I live on Bjorkland Ave, which is at the top of Chester
I know,
Street.
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
I would be against speed bumps on Parkton. You just put in 3-way stop signs up there this summer. Give it a chance. Don't just say, oh, well, that's not working. It's already slowing the traffic down when we're coming down off of Chester into Parkton, and when we're coming up Parkton into Chester. It's enough. You've already brought the Westchester side in also. It's more than enough. Give it a chance.
Thank
So
you.
I'm against it.
Thank you. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, how about virtual?
Madam Chair, we have one person raising their hand, Christina Burns. I just sent a request to unmute now.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
We can.
Yes.
This is Christina Burns. I just want to confirm, is this notice in regards to Upper Parkton or Lower Parkton? Like someone before me went, they had said that, Lower Parkton is a private street, so I'm just looking to confirm which area that applies to.
Christina, it would not be on a private street, so it would be on the upper part.
Understood. So we live on Lower Parkton, which is the private road. People use this road as a cut through. When Drummond and Lansing are backed up, they come down a very narrow, unstable private road and fly down this road. So if speed humps are not going to be installed on the private road, the safety of the people that live on this street matter just as much as any public road. If some additional safety measures could be made on Grove Street and on Holden Street, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Thank you for your recommendation.
Madam Chair, no one else is raising their hand at this time.
Okay,
virtually.
thank you. Could we go to I, please? 3I.
3I, Councilor Jenny Pasillo requests installation of speed humps on West Chester Street.
Okay, anybody virtual for that item?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, can we go to J, please?
Councilor Jenny Pasillo requests installation of speed humps on Tacoma Street.
Anybody here for Tacoma Street? Can we check virtual?
Madam Chair, no one is raising their hand.
Okay, can we go to K, please?
K, Councilor Jenny Pasillo requests installation of speed humps on. Madam Chair, 3JJ will be much later in the agenda.
That's later.
I
We
should
have to
say.
go through all the single digits for.
Councilor Jenny Pasillo requests installation of speed humps on Richmond Ave between Audubon Road and Flag Street School.
Anybody for that item?
Madam Chair, we have a number of folks raising their hand.
Okay, all right, great.
The first person I can identify is Ian Babu.
My name is, there we go. Okay. I was able to unmute. My name is Ian Bayview. My child goes to Flag Street School. Having a permanent speed bump near to Flag as possible would improve safety greatly in the mornings. There are a lot of cars that use Flag as the cut through, which I'm sure a lot of other people are about to tell you. And that the temporary speed bumps helped a lot, and a permanent one would help more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Mike Rodon.
Hi, this is Michael Rodden. I live on Richmond Ave towards Audubon Street.
Okay, you for or against speed humps?
I am for them. So my son goes to Flag Street. We definitely saw, a noticeable decline in speed towards the school. But what we saw, towards Audubon is that traffic would come out of the speed bumps, faster than they were before, really step on their gas. And by the time they get to our house, they're probably going 40 to 50 miles an hour. I think that we need more speed bumps and we need some traffic enforcement. I've lived on this street for more than 5 years and I've never seen any traffic enforcement. So, that would be what I'd have to say.
You have lived on this street since.
Okay. AJ?
Thank you. The next person I can identify is Shameen W. just sent a request to Shamin.
Hey, my name is Shamin. I live on Ellis Drive, and my kid goes to Flag Street as well. And I've seen so much of a difference when there's temporary speed bumps have been installed. So I fully agree with this idea to install speed bumps. One last thing I want to say: there was somebody mentioned like a light, installing a light versus like a speed hump. This is a clear example of how the lights don't actually work, because there is a light there, but versus a speed bump actually does work. So I hope that we can install a speed bump. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Joe McAvoy. Just sent a request to Joe.
Yeah, thanks very much. My name is Joe McAvoy. I live at Richmond Ave. Like some of the callers today, my kids also go to Flag Street School, and there's a number of children who live as neighbours around us, including some who've been on this call. Richmond Ave is a wide street, and cars routinely drive too fast along the entire length of the street. It's about 1.2 miles. There's no stop signs or nothing stopping cars from speeding as they head towards Audubon and down towards Flag Street as well. A number of folks have mentioned the school zone, but there's also a temple, two temples there, and multiple bus stops where kids get picked up to go to the middle and high schools as well. Similarly to what other folks have mentioned, I've never seen any speeding enforcement on the road. There's temporary speed humps that we saw over the summer and fall were very effective in slowing traffic right in front of the school. However, as some of the other folks have mentioned, as you move further down the street towards Audubon and then towards Pleasant Street, cars do tend to speed up quite significantly. So I'm very strongly in favour of implementing permanent solutions to reduce speeding in our neighbourhood, and I strongly encourage the adoption of this measure.
Thank you, Joe.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is David Farah. Just sent a request for David to unmute.
Yes, hi, sorry. My name is David Farah. I live on Richmond Ave. I also have 2 children that go to Flag Street School. I'm definitely noticing more people speeding ever since the temporary speed bumps have been lifted. Before this temporary speed bumps were put in, I noticed a lot of accidents on our road. We witnessed a dog get hit and actually passed away. We live right near the corner of Flag in Richmond, and that intersection is notorious for a lot of accidents. So a lot of people speed going towards Flag and have had accidents over there. When we did have the speed bumps, it was great. You could notice people were slowing down, crossing safely, and I would just love to have them back.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Artie Madan.
Hi there. Thank you so much for convening this. My husband and I and our 2 children have lived at 164 Richmond, directly in front of the temporary speed bump for 8 years. And we have seen way too many people speeding and racing down this road that is chock full of children who are walking to school, children who are biking, folks who are walking their dogs. We've had visitors to our home and other parents who are parked on Richmond who are taking their kids to Flag Street School who've been sideswiped, who have lost more side mirrors than I can count. And worst of all, we are the family that Dave Farah was referencing, whose beloved pet was lost at this very intersection. On Monday, August 4th, 2025, at 4 p.m., our best friend's dog was killed in front of our home by somebody who was racing down the road so fast that the dog did not even shed any blood because it was hit so hard and its neck was immediately broken. This was traumatic for all of us in the family, including our young children, 7 years old, 11 years old. and our friends who were visiting 10-year-old children who had to see this happen. That happened just days shy of the speed bump being installed. So I really cannot say strongly enough that I really advocate for this speed bump to be here. It has significantly reduced the speed of the cars on the street. It's made it easier for us to back out of our driveways. And while naysayers might say that no one has died yet, no human has died yet, I really do believe that it is a matter of time. There are no sidewalks on the other side of the road, so that means people are constantly having to cross the road. There's texters and drivers now, and as Mike Rodden mentioned, there's no traffic enforcement. So I really would advocate for not only the speed bumps that were temporary to be permanent, but also for a speed bump to be placed further down the road between Richmond and Pleasant, as well as traffic reinforcement.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Diana Malkin. Just sent a request to unmute Diana.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. My name is Diana Malkin. I live in Worcester on Richmond Ave, close to the Flag Street intersection. I've lived here for 28 years. I live on the side of the street that has no sidewalk. And so whenever I leave my house on foot, whether to previously walk my dog or go for a walk myself, I need to cross over the street so I can get to the side with a sidewalk. I noticed a huge difference in how safe I felt in my own neighborhood when the temporary speed bumps were put in. Over the years that I've lived on Richmond Ave, people drive very fast down the street. I have lost a cat who was hit by a car speeding down the street, and my dog was also hit by a car driving down the street. Luckily, she survived that, but it is not safe, and I noticed as soon as the temporary speed humps were removed, I noticed a huge difference in how quickly people were driving down the street and felt immediately less safe leaving my house and backing out of my driveway or walking across the street. I do agree with other people who called and said that the speed, as you get towards Audubon, traffic picks up and people are speeding again. I don't know what the answer is. I don't think we can put speed humps down the entire Richmond Ave. However, I think it's very important that they are by the school and in between Flag Street and Greenbrier, because there are many children every day, in addition to all the residents who are out there walking in this area. And so while it might be great to have them along the whole way because people speed when they're not there, I think this is the most important.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Sandy M.
Hi, this is Sandy Meltzer. I live in between Audubon and Greenbrier, which has it's curved on both ends, so there's very little visibility unless you pull out into the street. So what my way of dealing with it, I've lived in my house about 55 years, is I back into the driveway because it's much safer to pull out. And I agree with most of what everybody has said. I was really disappointed to see the speed bumps go away. I didn't realize it was temporary, and I would love to see them come back. And one other thing is, I did notice that people slowed down at the crosswalk at Audubon while the speed bumps were there. So I think that was very positive. I would like to see them a little bit closer to Greenbrier. Thank you.
Madam
Thank
Chair,
you,
that's the last person raising their hand for this item.
Okay, can we go to the next item, which is KLL?
The next item reads, Eric Doan requests installation of speed humps on Bay State Road starting from Hillsborough Road down to Clark Street.
And I did notice that a couple people already talked about this, so I did make notes. So if you don't want to talk again, I would appreciate that. But we did make your comments known when you were talking about Burncoat Street. A couple people talked about Bay State Road as well. Okay, does anybody else want to say anything about Bay State Road? Okay, anybody virtual?
Madam Chair, it looks like Courtney Reed, but that was the person that had previously provided testimony. Let's see here. That is the only person raising their hand.
Did you say you had one more?
That was the only person.
Okay, great. Okay, let's go to M.
Next person for M is Councilor Jenny Pasillo, requests installation of temporary speed humps on Country Club Boulevard.
Okay, I know we have, yeah. Come on up. State your name and city of residence.
Hi, I'm Kathy Huntington from Country Club Boulevard, Worcester, and we really do need the speed bumps on Country Club Boulevard. The people come down there, they just zippity-doo-dah, they don't even bother stopping. Well, they don't even bother stopping at the stop signs. You try crossing the streets and you see the cars come zippity up from, what's that street down, the Magnet School, down by Clark Street, down there, they come flying up
Nicholas?
Country Club. And we really could use some. And now that we have Cane's opening up pretty soon, they're gonna be coming up this way. It's gonna be pretty bad. I really think we do need them.
Okay, thank you. Yes, okay, Councilor Pasillo?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can I ask Commissioner Raleigh just to talk about the plans for Country Club Boulevard?
Oh, what they're doing out there now, it's not like the plans that you guys showed us at a meeting. I don't know what they're doing. I
Okay.
mean, the sidewalks that they put out there at the intersection of Pleasant Valley and Country Club, you try walking over that and they're like this far off the ground and
Okay.
it's a zoo.
Okay, Mr. Raleigh, can you make a brief couple statements on what the proposed plans are?
Madam Chair, so that project's under construction right now, so that's the reason why it seems like it's unfinished and difficult to navigate, and it will be while it's under construction. But based on the feedback that we received from the community when we presented plans for that project, we did incorporate several raised crosswalks. So those are crosswalks that themselves function as speed humps. So that'll slow traffic down specifically at the pedestrian crossing locations. So those are being incorporated in the project that's being constructed right now.
I hope it works. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, how about virtual?
Madam Chair, it looks like Courtney Reed raised her hand again, maybe perhaps for this item as well. Just enter a request to unmute.
Yes, I'm trying to unmute because I don't think it came across the situation that is so bad on Bay State Road. So if anyone could ever, and I mean, like, we have our kids out there all the time, but if anyone could understand what we do every single weekend, we let our kids go. Like, we let our kids run and bike and whatever. But the problem is when we bring them to school, people are like 65 miles an hour on our road. And our crosswalk people can voice their concern into it, but I'll voice them right now. They can't stand it. It's so bad, to the point where they've had bicycle police and we've had police here in the last 2 years, but we have voiced our concerns. It is very, very unsafe. I have thrown our entire situation into, like, let's just, like, get something safety wise, but no one has done anything.
Thank you.
So, and Squantum, so we're like the Bay State Squantum, like situation. I've gone out 5 times with issues, or I've had to call the police because there's been accidents. And I don't think anyone actually cares about this, like, 4-way stop, but it's not really a 4-way stop because it's a 2-way stop, and no one really cares. And
Thank you, Courtney. Thank you. Okay, anybody else virtual?
Madam Chair, not at this time.
Okay, can we go to N, please?
Councilor Jenny Pasillo requests installation of speed humps on Monterey Road.
Okay, why don't you come up to the microphone? State your name and city of residence and your testimony.
Hello, I'm Anastasia Garcia, and I live on Monterey Road, Worcester. And my kids, we see speeding all the time. I've seen cars flip over because they're going up our road so fast. Whether it's a speed bump or a speed table, I definitely am into something happening there. It is really scary when you have littles running around. They come, drop off their kids on Thorndike, and then they speed up after they do drop off. So even if it was a temporary one, I don't know, because we have it all year round. Through the summer, the teenagers are going up crazy, and then during the winter, we have drop off and pickup where parents are dropping off their kid and they're just not thinking about all the other kids that might be living on that street. So it is a problem.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nick Cantrell. I live at 10 Monterey Road. I won't take up too much time, just reiterate what Tasha said. I have a 2-year-old son. There's a lot of kids who play in the area. There's animals, and people just absolutely cruise up our streets. So speed humps or any traffic calming measures that you folks can put in would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you. Anybody else? Virtual? AJ?
Madam Chair, the first person I can identify is Michael Coggins. I just sent you a request to unmute Michael.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
We can.
We can.
So I live at 37 Monterey Road, directly across the street from Tasha and down the street from Nick. And I'd just like to reiterate a couple things. We are not the longest street in Worcester, but the amount of children, especially young children that live outside on this street, it's quite a significant number. And I can tell you that quite a few of them are trained now to tell the cars that are speeding down the road to try to slow down. That's how often they hear their parents asking cars to slow down. A major consideration is that because Thorndike is a one-way street and accessing Burncoat Street from Lincoln Street is often done on Beverly Road, Monterey Road kind of becomes a default connection for people trying to access Burncoat in our part of Worcester. I've only lived here 2.5 years, and the speeding issue is a significant one. So whether it's a speed hump or even just a speed limit monitor that catches people's eyes, I know that those have been installed on Beverly Road, and it certainly works for me because I have to catch myself when I'm going a little too fast trying to get from Lincoln Street back to my house. Anything to catch people's eyes because there's a lot of kids in the area. So I'd be in favor of something. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Devin Tonelli. I just sent a request to Devin.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
We can.
Yes.
Thank you. I would like to strongly voice my support for speed humps, bumps, whatever you want to call them, on Monterey Road. In addition to the street being absolutely peppered with families with young kids as well as dog walkers. Most importantly, we run adjacent to Thorndike Road, which houses Thorndike Road Elementary School. And Thorndike Road is a one-way street. So for families dropping off for school in the morning, Monterey Road is their turnaround to get back to Burncoat Street. So especially during school drop-off hours, it's especially hairy. And many kids have been almost hit by cars, especially during those vulnerable times of the day. But really also year-round, it's very concerning the rate of speed that cars are traveling down the streets from both directions, coming up from Bay State as well as down from Burncoat Street. So I strongly support adding some sort of speed bump or table to Monterey Road.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify just has an iPad as a name. If you could just please provide your full name. Hello? Not hearing from that person. That is everyone, Madam Chair.
Okay, can we go to O, please?
Next item, Mayor Joseph M. Petty, on behalf of Pam and Phil Chirkus et al., request installation of speed humps on Valley Hill Drive.
State your name, city of residence, and your
Hi, good
testimony.
evening. My name is Nikki Hardin. I live at 3 Valley Hill Drive, and I purchased my home in 2016, so I've been there for, I guess, almost 10 years. I am here to voice that I am strongly in support of speed humps on Valley Hill Drive. I'm honestly surprised this hasn't come up yet in anyone's conversations, but I'd like to bring up the fact that Worcester was identified, I believe, the year of 2024, but it was presented the data in 2025 as the fourth worst city to drive in the country. So I think it's very important that we're talking about this. As a city, it's clearly very unsafe that we made number 4. And I am here in support of any possible safety measures that the city is willing to put forth. I do believe we need more of a police presence to make that happen, but if speed humps is kind of where we start, I'm fine with that. I'd also like to share that I have been an emergency room nurse in this city for the last 10 plus years, and I have firsthand experience of what happens when somewhere is unsafe to drive. As far as Valley Hill Drive, I have tried my own solutions within my own control. I've made my own hand-painted slow down signs with Worcester yellow smiley faces on them. I parked my car in the street to try to slow people down, to make them go around me. I did not catch it on my Ring camera, but I had a car hit a tree in my front yard at one point. And it's important too to point out that my home is about 100 feet from the end of the road that leads to Salisbury. There's no stop sign at the end of the road. There are no lines painted on the road, and my section of the street does not have any sidewalks. So all of these things coupled together, I am very much in support of more safety. I'm walking in the streets constantly with my dog, running by myself. I have my own speed gun that I got, and people average about 40 miles an hour on that street. So
Oh, that's
thank you.
interesting.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
Yes.
So she has her own speed gun. There we go. For all of you that are enthusiastic about speeding on your street, there you go, Amazon. No, just kidding, I don't know where she got it. Okay. Anybody else for Valley Hill? Can we go virtual?
Counselor, can recognize Vincent Cimarano. Just sent a request to Vincent.
Good evening. My name is Vinny Cimarano. I live on Valley Hill Drive in Worcester, and I am very much in favor of installing speed humps on Valley Hill Drive. I've been almost a lifelong resident here. I spent the first 18 years of my life on Plantation Street. I spent another 18 or so on Burncoat Street, so I know the speed that exists up and down these main thoroughfares. This is my 6th year on Valley Hill. And one of the first conversations I had with my neighbor was about how fast cars travel, not just down this hill, but up the hill. I got little kids that live directly across the street from me. I have kids that live up the hill. I have kids that live down the hill. There are tons of pets in this neighborhood. There's walkers all over the place. It's pretty bad. And I'd be a liar if I said that I didn't drive over the speed limit myself, but I think the speed at which these cars are traveling up and down this hill is faster than most would be comfortable with. I think that multiple speed humps should be installed throughout the whole street. It's pretty bad. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I'm sure the next person I can identify is Sai Vidula. Just sent a request to Sai.
Hi, thank you for this opportunity. My name is Dr. Sai Vadula. I live at 31 Valley Hill Drive. Just to paint a picture, this is a main road that connects between Newton Center and Salisbury Street, and there's cars that take this road to bypass traffic to get between those 2 points. There is a hill that crests right at 25 Valley Hill Drive, which is where the zip code changes from 602 to 609. There are no sidewalks on 609. The road narrows. There's zero visibility going north from 602 zip code to 609. So all the way up the hill, I've clocked people going at 50 miles per hour. There's signage that says it's 30 here. Well, the city's at 25, but the signs for 30 are still up. Once you come up that hill, you see nothing. And right there, you see cars coming across. You see people walking because there are no sidewalks. And you're bound to hit everybody at 50 miles per hour. It goes the same coming from the other way. When you're going up the hill, you have zero visibility of what's down the hill. There was a speed hump that was installed as a trial recently. It was removed yesterday. Well, that didn't work for many reasons because firstly, the signage for the speed hump said 15, but 5 feet behind that sign, there was a sign that said 30, so you could see both at the same time, and I'm sure people took the 30 as an option and not the 15. And secondly, speeding up the hill at 50 miles per hour and coming right up to the speed hump at 15 is not really helpful, so I feel we need probably 3 speed humps, probably more. I would think one of them needs to be at 30 or 32 Valley Hill Drive, going up all the way to 25, and then probably one on the other side also. Thank you again for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify, it looks like it's just on their phone, Google phone. Just sent a request to unmute that phone. Just provide your full name, please. Madam Chair, not hearing that person. That is the last person on this.
Okay, can we go to P?
Councilor Jenny Pasillo, on behalf of Mary Wayland True, requests installation of speed humps on Winifred Ave.
And you can do Q at the same time.
Mary True et al. Request installation of speed bumps or humps on Winifred Ave.
Okay.
Hi, my
Hi.
name is Mary True, and I called Jenny, my district counselor, a bit ago to describe just the difficult situation on Winifred Ave. Winifred Ave, there's 3 sections. There's a section, Chalmers Road turns into Winifred at Duffy Field, and then there's a stop sign. And to my knowledge and experience, that hasn't been a difficult area for speed. I live in the second section, so it's there's Maybell Street and Amherst Street, 2 stop signs, which one would think would have a deterrent effect, and it really does not. Cars, it's not uncommon for cars to not stop at the stop sign at Maybell Street and then cruise up Winifred Ave at an incredibly high rate of speed, to the point that it's a neighborhood of a lot of walkers, dog walkers, bicyclists, kids. When my grandchildren are visiting and riding their bikes, I stand in the street as a sort of like a presence to communicate to any driver, like, you need to, because other interventions haven't worked. We have, we went to the 311 store and or office, and we got the 25 mile per hour signs, speed limit signs, and we have them in front of our house. We got some for neighbors. Those don't seem to affect the situation. So I think for the second section of Winifred Ave, a speed hump would be really helpful in improving the safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Come on up.
Ron Garabedian, 135. I live in the 3rd section of Winifred Ave, and I am for the speed bumps. We've had 2 light poles knocked over. It took 2 years for one of them to be reinstalled. My neighbor lost a wall from speeders coming up the hill. It's like a hairpin turn as you drive up Winifred. And I mean, they speed up every day. And I do get out there on occasion and we'll tell them to slow down. But it's really a cut through now from Salisbury Street to Ellis Drive, through Winifred, down to Pleasant. So I am for it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John True, 49 Winifred Ave. Lived on Winifred Ave for 34 years, lived in the area my whole life. Winifred Ave, as folks know, is one of the wider streets in Worcester. And folks, as my wife mentioned, sometimes if they decide to stop at Maybell, that doesn't stop them from getting up to about 40 miles an hour on that road. Disabled children live on that street between Maybell and Amherst. There's two of them, and I'm very concerned, and the parents are very concerned also, that this is a tragedy waiting to happen with people speeding up through there. So I would respectfully ask that you consider putting in that speed bump as quickly as possible, because there is no chance for cars to stop with kids coming out between parked cars on there. It's an accident waiting to happen. Thank you.
John, just one question.
Yes.
So when the second part of Winifred begins, around what number is that, so we can?
Sure, it's about 41, I believe,
Okay,
is the first
yeah, that's
one.
what I thought too. I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that we're giving specific instructions to,
Yeah,
what
thank
your request is.
Yeah, it starts at 41. We're third house up at 49.
Okay, great.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
John.
much.
I appreciate it. Okay. Do we have anybody virtual?
Madam Chair, it looks like I have a Samsung phone user. Just sent a request to unmute.
Yes, how you doing? My name is Matthew Soretti. I live at 21 Winifred Ave, so that is the first section of Winifred Ave. We bought our house here in 1995. We've been here for 30 years, and so there's a corner that comes up from Chalmers Ave. It turns into Winifred there at that point, right at Duffy Field, and these people that come around that corner they just put their foot right into it until they get to the first stop sign at Mabel. So I am definitely for a speed bump anywhere on Winifred Ave. My daughter bought a house at 93, so 2 years ago. She lives up at 93, and the speeders here are just, it's getting to be too much. My son was almost hit getting off the bus. He is a special needs child. So anything that you could do to hinder speed on this street would be greatly appreciated. I appreciate your time. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Looks like I have another phone user. Just sent a request to unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
Oh, good. Okay. So my name is Pam Cherkis. I'm here with my husband, Phil. I couldn't unmute in time for the discussion on Valley Hill Drive. We live on Valley Hill Drive. I'm the petitioner for the speed humps on Valley Hill Drive.
Go ahead, you can give your testimony.
Okay, so it was great that we had the temporary hump. The placement was a little bit weird. So we request, hopefully, that we can get multiple speed humps. I'm suggesting that one is placed near 8 or 9 Valley Hill Drive, one near 30 Valley Hill Drive, one near 36 Valley Hill Drive, and one near 46, 48 Valley Hill Drive, and possibly one or some other calming measure near the elbow where Valley Hill Drive starts to turn to go towards the little L towards Newton Ave North at 6163 Valley Hill Drive. People take that corner really, really fast, and then they speed up the hill, and by the time they get to the junction of Valley Hill Drive and Valley Hill Lane, they really gun it to go up the hill. So we see people going 40 plus miles an hour easily. And when they come down the hill on the other side, you know, you can't see when you crest the hill going towards Salisbury. And when you're coming from Salisbury, you can't see when you crest the hill coming down. There are no sidewalks in that area. And in the winter,
Thank you.
it's extremely icy. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
What do you hear?
I'm on for Winifred.
Okay. You can go ahead, state your name and.
Thank you. I'm Michelle Gerber. I'm at 31 Winifred Ave. So I'm in that first section from Chalmers. The person who just spoke about that section kind of inspired me because I really don't notice much speeding in that first section. So I would say I don't think it's needed there. I don't think it's necessary. But for maybe further up, I would say, sure, I can see how after that stop sign, people will speed the whole length. However, you know, well, I guess technically that's Chalmers, so I apologize. But for that section, once you go around the corner and Duffy Field is there, now I'm like kind of questioning, but I'm pretty sure there's no crosswalk. If you guys know otherwise, but you know, when I'm walking from Winifred down and then on Chalmers and I want to cross to get over to Duffy, which is kind of crazy that there's no crosswalk there.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
it.
thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, good suggestion. Okay, anybody else virtual?
Madam Chair, looks like the next person I can identify is Marissa LeMay. I just sent a request to Marissa.
You have dried apples?
Hello, Marissa. They are unmuted, but we cannot hear them, so try one more time.
Okay,
Yeah, no, we can't get through to them. Sorry.
Okay.
So
are we,
that is everyone, Madam Chair.
okay, we can go to R.
Councilor Jenny Pasillo requests installation of speed humps on Ascadilla Road.
State your name and city residence, and you're for or against.
Jim Trainer. I'm a 60-year-old resident of Ascadilla Road. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Jenny, for getting me here tonight. I'm requesting speed bumps for safety reasons for the young kids in the neighborhood on Ascadilla Road. Number one. Number two, there's a daycare on Ascadilla Road also. There's a few elder folks like me walking, and the cars fly up and down. Real quick, it's mostly cut through to Quinsigamond Community College. So early in the morning, noontime, 3 o'clock, people are cutting through Ascadilla Road to take the right to get over to Quinsigamond. That's it. Thank you very much for what you're doing. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim. Okay. Do you have anybody else? How about virtual?
Madam Chair, it looks like the first person I can identify is Emily Taggart.
Hello.
Hi, Emily.
Yes, state your name and city of residence in your testimony, please.
Hi, my name is Emily Taggart. I live on Ascadilla Road, and I'm against the installation of speed bumps. Just because Ascadilla Road is really narrow and the curbs are in bad shape, I would worry that the speed humps would hinder people to kind of try to swerve towards the parked cars. We do have cars parked on both sides of the road, which makes it even narrower, especially in the winter time. So I just worry about that. However, I do understand the safety concerns of people cutting through from from Burncoat Street to Quinnapoxet. So I'm wondering if there's another solution to that instead of just the speed humps.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is, looks like Greg O. I just entered a request to mute Greg.
Hi, my name is Greg Opperman. I live on Ascadilla Road. I oppose these speed bumps. I do support traffic calming measures in general. In fact, I spoke up about Burncoat Street earlier in this meeting. But as some other people have voiced, Ascadilla Road's about 500 feet long. There are parked cars on both sides of the road. Traffic is pretty slow. You do have to pull over if there's another car going the other way. And we've heard from so many people this meeting that have urgent needs for speed humps and traffic calming measures. I would rather our attention and focus go towards those folks. I understand some of my neighbor Jim's concerns, but in general, I find it to be a pretty safe street overall, and I would support traffic calming measures going somewhere else. So in short, I oppose this. Thanks.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, no one else is raising their hands this time.
Okay, can we go to S, please?
Seth Pickard requests installation of speed humps on Chino Ave.
Yes, please. Do we have anybody virtual while Seth is?
We do, yes. The first person I can identify has a phone number ending in 7059. I just sent a request for that person to unmute. Hello, 70.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Okay. I'm a resident on Chino Ave. That street is a cut through from Boylston Street over up Carpenter, and then they use it to basically get into Lincoln Village as well, from the valley to Lincoln Village. It's been about a year now. I have watched people doing 50, 60. One night I heard the car coming. By the time I could look out the window, I seen taillights. He was probably doing 90, I'd say. It was, and I heard the car coming from like 5 houses down. So, any given day during the summer, there's kids, about 20 kids, like around Huron area in Chino, including my son, that are playing out there, and it's just a constant, it's a huge problem. I've seen people, I've been going up the street, there was a car in front of me, and there was a car doing the speed limit. I've seen people literally get in oncoming traffic and pass those people and continue on speeding down the street. It's a huge issue, and I'd hate to see a child get hit. And we're afraid to keep our vehicles out on the street. Even the neighbors, all the neighbors are completely tired of it as well. And then also the issue going on down at the end of Chino Ave too, by the smoke shops and all that stuff down there. That's a huge issue as well. I want to point that out. My wife just got in an accident down there. Someone was doing a U-turn right out of the parking area right there, and got sideswiped, and my son was in the car. Everyone was all right, and then literally next day, someone OD'd right there in the crosswalk. So it's that whole area over there really needs a spotlight on it. And,
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate
a lot
it.
needs to be done. Yeah.
Come on up to the microphone. State your name and city of residence.
My name is Jason Sanchez. I live on Chino Avenue, and I'm against the speed hump on Chino Avenue because it is not a busy neighborhood. The whole neighborhood has such low traffic that a speed bump is unnecessary, especially compared to the other streets previously mentioned. It is filled with thoughtful residents that give plenty of space to pedestrians and slow down for them and go around them. And as long as I've lived here, there has been no history of accidents with people or other cars or parked cars. There are cars parked on the street, but to say that people are going 90 miles an hour on that street is ridiculous. There's people that have loud mufflers. Maybe that is what causes the confusion and makes it sound, like people are going fast, but otherwise, people don't actually, hurricane down the streets. People actually, move around and are cautious of other pedestrians. So I'm against the speed hump.
Thank you. AJ, do we have any more on virtual?
Not at this time, Madam Chair.
Okay. Can we go to T?
3T, Paula F. Janowski requests installation of speed humps on the straight section of Bjorkland Ave between Chester Street and Lambert Circle.
Hi, I'm Paula Janowski. I live on Bjorkland Ave. We have two side streets that come down onto the straight section, and they're hills. We have tons of kids in the neighborhood riding bikes and scooters, and people fly down the straight section of Bjorkland. And I'm just afraid that they're going to meet up. And I'd like to see something to slow down the traffic on that straight section.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anybody else? Okay. Okay.
I'm Cynthia Bonsu. I'm at 21 Bjorkland Ave, and I am definitely against speed bumps on our street. It's not that bad of a street. I've been there now over 35 years. We've had one kid that had an accident with a car, and he got up and walked away because he came down the hill on a bike. The kids are told all the time by myself, because I'm on the corner, slow down, take it easy. So they have taken their time to learn to ride their bikes on the sidewalks, which is fine. Doesn't interfere with the traffic. I've had my children grown there, my grandchildren have grown there. It's not worth it. It's a very slow street because you come up over a hill just to get to the straight part, and then even to go past my house, it's on a mostly level until you get to Lambert Circle. It's slow. Everybody takes it slow. There's maybe one person that has a loud car that they think is part of the problem, but that's it. And when I see him coming through, he's not speeding. So I just am totally against this.
Thank you. Yep, go ahead. Oh, go get up to the microphone so then we can hear it and it can be recorded.
I'm Evstathia Kulissis, and I live on 34 Bjorkland Ave. I've been living on 34 Bjorkland Ave more than 30 years. I raised 2 daughters there. It's a very safe area there, and hearing about the speed bumps, that make me terrified because we don't need it there. It's a very nice neighborhood, quiet, and having speed bump, it's something not necessary.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jane Rabus. I'm at 44 Bjorkland. I am against putting speed bumps. We have lived there almost 30 years. It is not a cut-through. The only people using Bjorkland live on Bjorkland. I am not someone, I appreciate someone with that can actually determine the speed with a radar gun, because I can say people fly or not. I don't know really what speed they're going. To me, I can't estimate it. And they have installed, at the beginning of Bjorkland, about a 1/10 of a mile up from Chester, a radar detector on a street lamp, street pole, that will tell you if you're going over 25. I also wonder, can that data be collected, and does that also collect how many cars it's registering that go on that street? I like to see the numbers, so that would tell me how busy that street is. I spend a lot of time outside in my front yard, and I am not afraid. I don't see people speeding, and so I would like to see, I am against it, and I hope that the data gets, talked about, because I think you're collecting data for that street.
Thank you. Okay.
Hi, my name is Edward Rabus. I'm at 44 Bjorkland Avenue. As my wife stated, it's not a cut-through neighborhood. We don't see speeders going by. And as she mentioned, you got the electronic speed sign that goes off between 25 and 30. I think that is a very good device, because if you go over 30, the flashing red and blue lights with it does say you better slow down. And I prefer those over speed bumps, because speed bumps, sometimes the pavement's not marked well, you might forget it's there, leaves covering it, and then you'll end up going over it too fast. I'm seeing other speed bumps in the city where they're not very well marked, especially if you're new to the neighborhood. You're driving down, all of a sudden you're flying over a speed bump. Where did that come from? So I'm against the speed bumps. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, do we have anybody virtual?
Madam Chair, we have several folks raising their hand. The first person I can identify is Brett Percival. I just sent a request to unmute Brett.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can.
Yes.
Okay, my name is Brett Percival. I live on Bjorkland. I'm at 6 Bjorkland, so I'm one of the first few houses off Chester Street, and I am massively in favor of the speed bump because people take the turn off Chester Street, they see a flat, straight stretch, it's relatively wide for a street in Worcester, and they step on the gas. I am terrified that I'm going to see a child hit. I say it to the kids in the neighborhood all the time to watch out because I live in fear that I'm going to see a kid hit. It might be better once you hit the later part of the neighborhood where they have put up the radar sign, but on our stretch of the street, I see cars speeding all the time, and I am terrified that a child is going to be hit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Tammy Endow. I just sent a request to unmute Tammy.
Good evening. My name is Tammy Endo. I live at 41 Bjorkland Ave, and I am against the speed bumps. I do not believe that there's enough traffic on the road to warrant a speed bump, as many have said in the past. It was used as a cut through when St. Peter Marian was a functioning school. That's no longer an issue. As Paula has stated, there is concern with kids coming down the hills into the main road. Possibly a stop sign at those intersections would assist with slowing down the traffic rather than the speed bumps. I believe on other neighborhoods I've seen speed bumps, they're very wide, they're high, they're going to damage your cars. And in addition, they're going to be a problem during snow removal in the city, and we already have streets usually a mess during that period of the winter as well. So I am against them. I do believe that possibly other measures could be taken in replace of that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next person I can identify, just list their first name, Cheryl. I just had to request to unmute if we could have your full name, please.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Esper. I live at 73 Bjorkland Ave. I am opposed to having speed bumps on the street as well for many of the same reasons as the other speakers. But I would like to add that for my family personally, my daughter has a cranial cervical instability, and even small jolts can cause her pain and complications. So having to hit multiple speed bumps every time we leave our home would directly affect her health and quality of life. And I also just want to mention that a few items earlier, Parkton Ave and Westchester Street were mentioned, being in need of speed bumps as well. These are two streets leading up to Bjorkland Ave, which will create about a mile of consecutive speed bumps. So I'm just hoping a better slowing alternative can be found.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Debbie O. If we could just have your full name prior to your testimony, please. Debbie O.
Hi, good evening. My name is Debbie Arell, and I'm calling because I am also terrified that some children are going to get hit. They're out there on their bikes and their scooters, and especially in the summer, they're all over the place. And I do see children, cars flying through that straightaway. I can understand why the speed bump might not be a good idea for some reasons, but maybe we could look at something different, like a stop sign or something that would just kind of slow people down.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Mark Milliken. I just sent a request to unmute Mark. Mark?
I'm here.
Please provide your testimony.
I'm Mark Milliken, and I live at 68 Bjorkland Ave, and for all the reasons that everyone's already stated, I'll spare that. The main reason is we've lived here almost 30 years, raised 3 children here. It's a quiet neighborhood, and I am opposed to the speed bumps.
Thank you. Anybody else on virtual?
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify lists the name of Denise. If we just have your full name prior to testimony.
Hi, my name is Denise LaRoche. I live at 85 Bjorklund Ave. I've been here for about 30 years. As everyone has said, it's a very quiet neighborhood. It's not a cut through. Most people that are traveling on this road live on this road. I think the speed limit monitor that they put in place is a great thing, and hopefully that will help slow down some of the traffic that people at the lower end feel is an issue. So I am opposed of putting speed bumps in. And I'd also like to speak about Popton at this time. I think that I'm against the Popton also for the reasons that the 3 stop signs have been put at the end of the streets there, and I'm hoping that that should help with the traffic slow down on that area as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
Madam Chair, that's all the
Okay,
remote
come on up.
persons.
State your name and city of residence.
I'm Paul Janowski. I live at 29 Bjorklund Ave. And it is a cut through from Chester Street down to 122 in Worcester. From about 35 forward, that's when the road starts to turn, and that's where everybody slows down. But from the beginning, from Chester Street down to there, it's very fast. It's very fast. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, you,
Madam Chair, that reads Lisa Romano requests installation of speed humps on Whitmarsh Ave in the vicinity of Hillcroft Ave, Claffey Ave, and Leeds Street.
do we have anybody virtual for this item?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, we can go to W.
The next item, Councilor Pasillo requests installation of speed humps on Wrexham Road, Wrexham.
Do we have anybody for Wrexham? Come on up to the microphone.
Yeah, that's us. Oh, we're up? Yeah, we're up. All right,
Okay.
give your opinion. You know all the stuff.
Okay,
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes,
happy
hi.
Thanksgiving.
Remember?
What?
Go for it.
Go for it, okay. Well, your acoustics here are not very good.
Can you state your
It
name?
might be my ears, too.
David Reed, say your name.
Oh, it's David Reed.
Okay, thank you.
My address is 205 Burncoat Street in Worcester. And I know Christian. Hi, Christian. I think speed bumps is a good idea. For the students especially, the safety of the students should not have so many school days off. If you keep these people slow and you can take care of those sidewalks the city belongs to, because I just broke my hip a little while ago.
Yeah, he can't tell him.
I can't tell them that.
No, you can tell him.
Oh, I can tell them that.
Yeah.
So what I'm in favor of is defining what a school zone is. Put on lights, school zones, go slow. And the next thing is that the school zone sidewalks should be the responsibility of the city and not people like me. I just turned 79. Can everybody hear me? Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, everybody can hear you.
Okay.
Where do you want the speed bumps?
The speed bumps?
Where do you want them?
Well, I think on the speed bumps, it's a good idea, provided that you don't make big tall ones, make
Just so people know they're there.
shallow ones, soft ones, you know, and they should be identified with a sign that says boom. And what else am I going to talk
I
about?
don't know, you got 10 seconds.
Oh boy. Well, no, I can't think of anything.
No, just snow, sidewalks on Rexham.
Yeah, I took the sidewalks, yeah.
We're good.
Thank you.
Okay.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, I did it, huh?
There we go.
Good, good.
State your name and city of residence.
Hi, my name is Karen Bowden, and I live on Wrexham Road.
And thank you, Jenny, for putting this forward. I am in favor of the speed bumps. I have lived on the street for 51 years, and I have seen it go downhill, and we have also worked on this over the many, many years. We thought about getting it made one way. We've had the radar signs, we've had the offices there, and people still fly up and down the street. And I know a lot of people have said that their streets are accidents waiting to happen. We had somebody killed at the top of the street a few years back for speeding. So it's a very, very dangerous street, and I am definitely in favor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Joanne Bowden, number 9, Wrexham. Yes, I agree with the previous speakers. It's a cut through. There's no sidewalks. Looking up towards Burncoat, you can't see what's coming. Sometimes I roll my window down to hear cars because it's hard to see backing out of my driveway. So it's sometimes very treacherous trying to get out. You back out thinking it's clear, and then all of a sudden someone's flying over the hill that comes from Burncoat down Wrexham. So I'm in favor of something to help our street be more safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Chris Foley, resident of Wrexham Road. Wrexham is the first street off of Burncoat Street from Burncoat High. Our property abuts Burncoat High. 90% of the street does not have a sidewalk. Students walk on the street to and from school early in the morning and all afternoon from 2:45 on. It's very dangerous for the kids to be walking on the street, walking home. Wrexham is also a bypass road from Burncoat to Lincoln via Beverly Street. It's a very straight road, about 1/3 of a mile long, and vehicles that are comfortable driving on Wrexham gun it from the time they turn on from Burncoat or Beverly, quickly escalating their speed. They go by our house easily at 50 miles an hour. Obviously, as the other residents have said, this has been going on for a while. Something needs to be done, especially regarding the kids, before something catastrophic happens. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anybody virtual?
Yes, Madam Chair. The first person I can identify is Jody. I just sent a request to unmute. If we could have your full name, please.
Hi, my name is Jody Bishop. I live off of Wrexham Road on Elnora Drive. And I want to reiterate what everybody else is saying about Wrexham. Definitely, I am for the speed humps due to speeding. Like everybody else said, Wrexham has barely no sidewalks. I'd love to see sidewalks installed, not only for myself as a pedestrian who walks her dogs daily on Wrexham. I've almost been hit several times. Years ago, I had my daughter in a baby carriage, and I had to throw her onto someone's lawn, baby carriage and all, because we were almost hit on Wrexham Road. So I'd like to see sidewalks, speed humps, and more police presence to, show the residents of Worcester that they really, need to keep their speeds down for the safety of all. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify just lists KK. If we could just have your full name prior to testimony, please.
Hello, can you hear me clearly?
We can.
Yes, I'm Catherine Kagay, and I would like to speak to Whitmarsh Avenue. I support traffic calming measures. Much of the traffic does go too fast. It's a safety concern. It's also noisy. We do have the fire station at the base of the hill, which serves Great Brook Valley over the hill. I'm glad to hear that if things are offset, it doesn't interfere with first responders. But speed humps can also be noisy. I'd like to know if they are installed, if they could be done temporarily for evaluation. And also Whitmarsh at the base of the hill is narrow, but it's the uphill end where the street widens that the vehicles speed up. Our other traffic calming measures being considered for this stretch, such as narrowing the street during warm weather with removable street architecture, like bump outs that mark off the parking zones on one or both sides of the street. And regarding speed and noise, I would add that fire trucks returning to the stations, going down the hill, often speed and then brake noisily. This is unnecessary and should also be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's everyone, Madam Chair.
Okay, can we go to X?
Cynthia Turncliffe requests installation of speed humps on Pine Tree Drive.
Hello, Cynthia Turncliffe.
Can you go to the other mic? Thank you.
Hello, this is Cynthia Turncliffe. I live on Pine Tree Drive. Some cars use it as a raceway. The neighborhood is filled with signs that say, this neighborhood is not a racetrack. The police were involved with a person on the next block. It didn't seem to do any good. It would be nice if we had more police traps in the city, but that's probably not going to happen. So cars speed down Pine Tree Drive. There's a funny little S-curve at the top of the street, and cars, they go past that and then they gun it all the way down the street as if it's a race. Yes, there aren't a whole lot of cars there, but those that do go down speed all the time. People like myself go dog walking. These sidewalks are either not there or they're unwalkable the way they are. And kids ride their bicycles and tricycles. I see motorcycles running up and down the street, not quite in this cold weather, but in the warmer weather. So I think a speed hump would be very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Do we have any virtual?
Rachel Goldstein, I just sent a request to unmute now.
Hi, my name is Rachel Goldstein. I live at the bottom of Pine Tree Drive. And as Cynthia was saying, they come around the corner and speed, and at the bottom of Pine Tree, it's not a straight throughway. They have to curve, and half the time they don't stop because they just go towards the woods and then take the turn really quick. I've lived here for over 50 years, and it's never been like this, and it's just getting too dangerous. I think there should be 2 bumps on Pine Tree. Thank you.
Thank you.
No one else, Madam Chair.
Can you read why?
Patricia Tricomi requests installation of speed humps on Thorndike Road.
Do you have anybody for Thorndike Road? Anybody virtual?
No, Madam Chair.
Can you go to Z?
Councilor Jenny Pasillo and Councilor Morris A. Bergman, on behalf of Paula Rosenblum et al., request speed hump plan associated with Haviland Street be amended to include 3 speed humps placed as equal distance to each other as possible.
Good evening. My name is Paula Rosenblum. I'm a resident of 19 Haviland Street. We're very thankful that we had 2 speed humps installed on Haviland Street recently, and they so far seem to be effective, especially now that they have the markings painted on the. Prior to that, it was every car that came down was hitting it too fast, and it's right in front of my house, so it was a constant boom, 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 boom. Anyway, we are still interested in trying to pursue a 3rd speed hump that's at the top, towards the top of Haviland Street, because people do come down from the top of Institute Road, and when they make that curve, they're coming pretty quickly. So we just like that to be consideration. And if not a speed hump, is there some way to install indication of what speed people are traveling at, so that they wake up a little bit and figure out that they need to slow down. So,
thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Anybody virtual?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, can you start AA?
Heidi Cicelane requests Pasadena Parkway be reviewed for installation of speed humps or other traffic calming devices.
Do we have anybody virtual for that?
No, Madam Chair.
BB?
Shameen Wisjusudara requests installation of a temporary speed hump on Ellis Drive.
Good evening. I ask the timekeeper not to start until I have a response to a question, please. Could you tell us, I'm sorry, Richard Silver, 49 Ellis Drive. Could you tell us where the proposed speed bump is supposed to be on Ellis Drive?
To the Commissioner, what Ellis Drive is?
Madam Chair, so the petitioner did not specify a specific location, so it could, anywhere on the street could be a candidate.
But he asked what the speed limit was on Ellis.
I'm sorry, was the question what the speed limit?
Where would it be? What are they proposing? Are you proposing?
Oh, where are they proposing on Ellis Drive? It does not say, it did not specify. That's what he said.
Okay.
So do you have a testimony?
Yes, please.
Okay.
We've lived there for 52 years at 49 Ellis Drive. In 52 years that we've been there, I'm unaware of any accident between motor vehicles and any pedestrians. It's a pretty wide street in the area where the petitioner lives, and we don't see a need, my wife and I don't see a need for a speed bump.
Okay.
If you enter Salisbury Street, off of Salisbury Street onto Ellis Drive, there's a curve right at the beginning, so you can't enter at a quick speed. And then there's a house that has people living there who have some disabilities, so a lot of cars are parked there for the caretakers. And then from that point on to Winifred Ave, it's somewhat straight, but it's only about 0.2 to 2.5 of a mile. And we just don't understand why someone would want to have them there, because we don't have much of police presence. And I would assume if there was any problems over the years, that people would call the police and complain and have police there, but we don't have that. Let's see. I'd like to know also, what is the cost of installing a temporary speed bump? I hear everyone looking for speed bumps, 4 on this street and 5 on this street. Are citizens considering what the cost is of this? This is a temporary speed bump, please.
Commissioner, we've talked about this before, but can you just give us a general idea of what a speed hump would cost?
Yeah, Madam Chair. So with the temporary speed humps, there's a cost of acquiring the material for the speed hump and then an annual cost for installing and picking up the speed hump. So the initial cost for each speed hump is somewhere around $4,000 or $5,000, and then each speed hump, each year, the cost of installing and removing the speed hump varies depending on the bid price we get, but you can figure $2,000 to $3,000 a year per hump. A permanent speed hump costs on the order, same thing, depends on the favorability of the bid prices, but somewhere around $8,000 to $10,000.
And when are temporary speed humps usually installed, what time of year, and when are they removed?
Commissioner?
Through the chair, so we install the temporary speed humps generally after the spring street sweeping, so late May is typically when those get installed, and then they are removed starting the second to third week of November.
So it's for snow removal purposes, the time?
Through the chair. So the temporary speed humps cannot be in place when there's a need for snow removal, so that's why they're removed over the winter. The permanent speed humps don't cause problems for snow removal, so they obviously remain in place all year.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you.
My name's Joanne Thurston. I live at 48 Ellis Drive. I've only lived in the neighborhood about 6 years. I do walk my dog down Ellis Drive. I am against the speed bump being put down there. I do agree that around school zones and some of the longer, bigger roads where people do speed more, that is a possibility. But I feel that a speed bump doesn't have a big consequence to the people that do speed. They stop right there, they speed off after, they speed up to it, they go over it. I think that I see no police presence in my neighborhood. I don't know anybody that's ever gotten a speeding ticket. I think that around the school zones, they could light things up better. I think the radar speed helps more. I just feel like a black speed bump, I just feel that it's not a real useful tool in some of the neighborhoods. And I kind of envision, after being here tonight, driving around Worcester, and I drive around Worcester a lot, going from speed bump to speed bump. And it just seems like it's going to turn into a bad place to drive.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have anybody on virtual?
Yes, Madam Chair. The first person I can identify is Peter Wilson. I just sent a request to unmute Peter.
Hello. It's Cindy Wilson. My husband and I live at 17 Ellis Drive. We're about the 6th house down from Salisbury Street. If anyone's familiar with these neighborhoods, Ellis Drive, where the previous speakers, Ellis Drive curves around and it feeds into multiple streets. A lot of curving streets, a lot of stop signs. So it's totally not an issue. From about the point where the Winifred extension hits Ellis Drive, right at the curve, from that point, if you go to the right towards Salisbury Street, it is a straightaway and it is treated as a raceway. This past summer, we had a large family gathering with with friends and relatives parked on the street, and one of our guests had their car plowed into. We have kids and grandkids on the street, and it's a major, for all the neighborhoods, it's about the only way to get out to Salisbury, which is a major thoroughfare, and the other way through the neighborhoods, you can get out to Richmond and then eventually Pleasant, but Ellis Drive is a major access point in and out of the neighborhoods, which there's hundreds of houses. So, while I appreciate the viewpoint of the other people on Ellis, they are around the curve, and which naturally slows people down. Unfortunately, we are right on the straightaway, which people go very fast. So I'm very hopeful that something could be done. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Shameen Wishendara.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity. So I do agree with Cindy and Peter, and so I want to point this out that it is the same people who live further down the street that is causing this issue, because starting from Winifred down to Salisbury Street, that straight section is where I'm asking to have a speed bump installed. Specifically, anything to the left of my house, which is around I'm on 19, so somewhere around like 20 or between to the left of my driveway versus like further down, maybe like 12. So like 2 speed bumps somewhere there. I mean, I would love to have 2 speed bumps on either side of my driveway if possible to protect my kids. But given that that's not going to be possible. But the other thing, so, I have 2 kids. The house in front of me directly has 4 kids. The house left to me has 2 kids. And then Cindy and Peter, they have parties, they have grandkids that come in. And, sometimes in the summer we have like 10, 11 kids just in that little 4-house section. And then so that is the biggest concern. And then you got the runners from Notre Dame who go down that street all the time. There are no sidewalks on either side of that street. In addition, when it rains, the water pools in that corner where little to the left of my house, and it basically creates a big puddle, and people can hydroplane if you're not going slow. So that's a concern. And then one last thing about this is not a new issue. This has been going on for a long time. I don't know if Madeline, who's across the street, is on the call or not, but she sent a letter to Donna, the chairperson here on the committee, and I think something that she said is I would just read this section. I have seen personally experienced the effects of at least 3 accidents, which were due to people driving entirely too fast. One of these incidents involved one of my children who was knocked off her bicycle on Ellis Drive. My daughter, who was about 9 years at the time, was so frightened by this van that she was not able to discuss the incident with me until a few days ago. And then she goes on to talk about some animals that have been hit and a bunch of other stuff, motorcycles. So, this is an issue that's been ongoing. And I want to really make it clear that, it is the straight section that everybody in the further down in the neighborhoods that drive really fast through here. So I really would like to have at least a temporary speed bump, preferably a permanent one,
Thank you.
installed in the section. Thank you.
Thank you, Shameen. Thank you.
Madam Chair, no one else is raising their hand.
Okay, let's go to CC.
Jennifer O'Connor requests installation of speed humps on Beverly Road.
State your name.
I'm Stephen Hudson from 66 Beverly.
Okay.
We have one of those lit-up signs a few houses up from us that tells you how fast you're going. And earlier today, I was I let a car go by to back out of my yard and looked back at the sign in the direction where that car was going, and it was already up to 40. And there's plenty of space on Beverly Road to get that up to 50, 60 or more to the top of the hill. Typically, I see brakes, top of the hill, probably in prep to turn left on Rexham if they're going to make the corner at all. So a pretty hard slam on the brakes, top of the road. And I just assume people are trying to get through to Burncoat a little quicker than they are if they had gone around the block the other way. So both my wife and I are in favor of the speed humps on Beverly Road.
Thank you. Anybody else on Beverly Road? Okay, how about virtually?
Madam Chair, I can identify Jennifer DeRoche. I just sent a request to unmute.
Hi, thank you. This is Jeffrey DeRoche, her husband. So we live at 223 Beverly Road, which is right at the top of the hill, right next to Darby Street. So we have 2 young kids, a 3 and a 1-year-old. Our neighbor has a young kid as well. And it's hard for us to let kids go out front, even take them to the car because of the speeding we have. I'd say it's a daily thing because there's a little bit of a S-turn, if you will, as you crest the hill. The cars can't see each other coming over the hill. And it's a daily thing where they're constantly beeping at each other as they cross that point. I'll also state, so we're a military family, and why that's relevant is we live all across the country, and when there's a study that says that Worcester is the 4th worst city for driving, we can feel that. We feel it both in our car insurance, that we've been around the country, and it's much higher here, and we also just see it just driving around. So thank you for taking this very seriously. But yeah, so going down Beverly, you basically have to be riding your brakes in order to stay under the speed limit. If people aren't doing that, it's very, very easy to definitely exceed 40, 50 miles an hour going down. So anything near, say, Kelly Street or something would be really great for some kind of speed check before they hit the intersection for Lincoln. That's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, that's the only person raising their hand.
Okay, DD, please.
Councilor Jenny Pasillo requests installation of speed humps on Brooks Street between Malden Street and Mountain Street West.
Anybody virtual?
No, Madam Chair.
EE?
Councilor Jenny Pasillo, on behalf of Carl Friedman, requests installation of speed humps on Varney Street.
Okay, state your name and city of residence.
Good evening. My name's Carl Friedman. I live at 9 Varney Street in Worcester. Recently just moved there, and I'm surprised that nobody's requested speed humps on that street before. It's kind of a popular cut through to go to Lincoln Village and the Lincoln Plaza area, and I get people speeding up and down this street all day long. In the morning, there's students walking in the street. There's only sidewalks on my side of the street, and so the kids are walking in the streets on both sides, basically. And I think it's a good idea to put a speed bump maybe somewhere near my house. Would be pretty good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
AJ?
The first person I can identify is named Kathy. If we could just have your full name, please. Kathy?
Yep, Leo Pedoni, 344 Brook Street. Can you
Please
hear me?
provide your testimony. Yes, we can.
Okay, I've been listening all night, and I agree with everybody who said everything, what they want. They wanted the speed bumps, and that's fine. They should get them. But the cost is really prohibitive. So I have a suggestion, which you're not going to like, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you go up to Pinecroft, and you take that right at Pinecroft, and when you travel underneath the 190 expressway, you come up to the top of the hill, and at that hill, right on the right-hand side, is a sign that tells you how fast you're going. If you're going under 30, it says, thank you. Well, doesn't that make me feel good about going under 30 degrees, under 30? But that's not the point. My point is, if we had those signs and you went over 30, you got fined, and I mean fined, based on how fast you're going. If you get 40, if you're going 40 miles an hour, you get charged whatever. You go 50, you get charged higher. And that, you know what, it's only the pocketbook that's gonna make things happen. All these guys who want all these things in the street, that's fine. But it's still not gonna stop these people from speeding unless you put bumps every 25 feet. It's a great idea, but I don't think it's gonna work. That's all I have to say. Good luck.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, no one else is raising their hand.
So FF?
Joseph Corazzini requests installation of speed humps on Salisbury Street between Beachmont Street and Burgess Street.
Do we have anybody virtual?
And Madam Chair, perhaps it would make sense to take GG as well. It's also Salisbury Street from Joseph Corazzini between Valley Hill Drive and Beachmont Street.
Okay, great. We'll do both of those together. Okay.
Hello, thank you for your time. I'm Joanne Richmond, and I live on Butternut Hill Road, and I am vehemently opposed to speed bumps on Salisbury Street. I think there are a few other measures, many of which have already been articulated tonight, that could be put in place. For example, police presence. They don't need to be ticketing. They just need to be there with their blue lights on. 2, illuminated speed monitors would be excellent throughout Salisbury Street. 3, speed limit signs. I walked from Park Avenue to Richmond to back down. We do not have a single sign posted on what the speed limit is. The city changed the speed limits throughout. Where are the signs? 4, I think we should have illuminated signs at the crosswalks on Salisbury Street. That alone slows people down, as we see at the WPI end of the street, and it makes us stop and look. I think those are basic, simple improvements that would help the city greatly. I do not think more speed humps are the answer. We are very close to becoming speed pump city.
Okay.
I'm Linda Monahan, and I also live on Butternut Hill Road. Getting out of Butternut Hill Road is a nightmare. I've lived there for 35 years, and it's just getting worse and worse. I mean, the cars are speeding, but in addition to that, I think people treat that part of Salisbury Street as a 4-lane highway. People do not obey the breakdown lane. And if people would just stop behind the car that's trying to turn left so that we can get out going down the road. So I guess my thought is that there's something that has to be done with the breakdown lanes to make people obey them. Because that is, the way I see it, the big problem on Salisbury Street, in addition to the speeding. But there's got to be something done.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mesa Hamden, and I also agree with the breakdown lane being a passing lane. So I think we need to work on that before any speed bumps.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. AJ?
Madam Chair, we have multiple residents raising their hand. The first is Joseph Corazzini. I just sent a request to unmute.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I put this order in because about 2 years ago, I had reached out regarding concerns around speeding on Salisbury Street. The curb and the location of where I've requested those speed bumps is a response to, vehicles essentially going 40 miles an hour. And the challenge is they come around that curb, and as people are backing out, including myself, it is very dangerous and very hard to get people to slow down. And so I put some other measures in, similar to some of the other residents, like, speedometer, so people can see how fast they're going. I've asked for painting on the lines. You can't even see the arrows to turn. Some of the breakdown lining is faded. Essentially, we're just asking for some mechanism, some strategy to slow people down on Salisbury Street. We've seen a number of accidents, and if you've ever seen one, it's pretty traumatic, where people are getting hurt. And on a regular basis, cars are going up and down Salisbury, 45, 50 miles an hour, and it's just not safe. So respectfully, I'm requesting for the installation of speed bumps, because at this point, I'm not sure what additional measure we could take to try to slow it down. And I recognize that putting an officer there might stop it for a few hours, but as soon as they leave, that it's gone, right? They're going to change their behavior, go back to doing what they were doing before. So I'm just requesting that we add speed bumps, and the two other items, I guess, will be on the other agenda that I requested, but support would be appreciated.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Melissa Naroyan. I just sent a request to unmute to Melissa.
Hi, this is Melissa Naroyan. I live at the Forest Street intersection of Salisbury Street. There are almost weekly fender benders or accidents at that location. I'm in favor of the speed humps or speed tables on Salisbury Street. And I would also ask that drivers, neighbors, anybody driving down Salisbury Street, please slow and allow drivers to exit side streets and driveways. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, that's everyone.
Okay, HH.
That's it.
Amanda Calderon
we'll
requests
do II
installation
too.
of speed humps on Mabel Street between Newton Ave North and Winifred Ave. And then Amanda Calderon requests installation of speed humps on Longworth Road between Mabel Street and Amherst Street.
Do we have anybody virtual?
Madam Chair, the first person I can identify is listed as
Do you want to speak on
Amanda.
this? Okay, come on up.
My name is Todd Mulligan. I live on Amherst Street. I'm not exactly against speed bumps, but it's very hilly. People are going to hit them very fast. The people who I've known who wanted speed bumps and got them find that there's noise involved with it and people speeding back up.
Right.
I don't know if any consideration has been given to blocking streets. I mean, I'd like to see the top of I suppose it would be the east end of Amherst Street just closed and the west side of Maybell just closed. If most of the problem from traffic comes from it being a cut through, eliminate the possibility of cutting through that neighborhood. And sacrifices would have to be made in some sense. I mean, I'm a fan of urban planning content on YouTube, and it seems like in some places it's a complete calming of the neighborhood. The only people in the neighborhood anymore are residents. And then in other neighborhoods, people light fires in the street until they take the barricades away. But I do wonder if just trying that anywhere where it might work would be worth a shot. To put down a couple Jersey barriers seems like a lot less work than cutting a speed bump into the street, and very easy to remove if people light fires in the street. And just any other possibility other than speed bumps. I mean, I think it's one of those things where nobody wants anybody speeding in the neighborhood, but speed bumps are objectively unpleasant. Like for Winifred, I mean, be more expensive, but any street that's finds it's too wide and that's encouraging speeding, can you put a center island in it? I don't know. I think it'd be great to put giant planters on Mill Street in the parking lanes as well, just as a side
Okay,
note. And I'd like to personally thank all the counselors for being here for this long, long meeting.
Thank you for staying with us as well. Okay, barriers. That's the first time I've heard that, but that's good. We've got a lot of suggestions tonight. Okay, do we have anybody virtual for either of these items?
First person I can identify is Amanda. I just sent a request to unmute. Amanda?
Hi. Yes, hi. My name is Amanda Calderon. I'm the petitioner for Maybell and Longworth. And I am in favor of the speed humps, especially on Maybell, because there are no sidewalks on Maybell, and it's a very dense populated neighborhood, and there is a lot of walking traffic through our neighborhood. We have school, Midland Street School, 2 Jewish synagogues, a park, and many walking families, and the road has become very dangerous because people do not stop at the stop signs. And the traffic coming off of Salisbury Street is very heavy now, and drivers are using heavy populated neighborhoods to get to their destinations. And so I'm in favor of speed bumps in the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify is Anthony Mangini. I just sent a request for Anthony to unmute.
Hi. I would like to say I'm against for Maybell Street. I've been living here for about 13 years. It's such a short street. I don't see the addition of the speed bumps will make a difference. I mean, I've never seen an accident on this street. Thank God. I've never seen you know. And I don't really. I walk the neighborhood all the time, and I don't really see a lot of cars flying up and down the street. So, I'm totally against the speed bumps on Maybell Street.
Thank you.
And I've talked to a couple other residents, and they're also against it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person I can identify is Corey Weatherby. I just sent a request to unmute.
Hello?
Hi,
Hello?
Corey.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, great. No, I'm Corey. I live at 22 Mabelle Street, and I work, I would say, 70% of my time from home. I've lived in the neighborhood almost 2.5 years. And because I work from home, I do see a lot going on Mabelle Street, and I will say the opposite of the previous caller, meaning, you know, I know kids go to and from school every day, and then also just the day-to-day traffic, it can be a little scary at times. So I'm definitely for, I don't know if it may, just after being on the call or witnessing so much all of this time, if it's necessarily speed bumps anymore, but there has to be something, especially from the traffic coming down off of Newton and them kind of plowing through going on Mabelle Street. So I'm definitely for speed bumps if that is what the next steps would be.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify has a phone number that ends in 9099. I just sent a request for them to unmute. Again, phone number ends 9099. It does appear the person has unmuted themselves, and they've just remuted themselves. Madam Chair, I can't get this person to unmute. And that is the last person.
Okay, so can we go to JJ?
Councilor Jenny Pasillo, on behalf of Peter Segas, requests installation of speed humps on Amherst Street.
Anybody virtual? No, come on up.
Hello, my name is Steve Ludi. I live at 122 Amherst Street. My wife and myself have lived there for 26 years. We've raised 3 children from early childhood to adulthood. We're currently watching a grandchild who's approaching 4. And we have no issues with the traffic there. I'm against the speed bump. We supervise our kids very carefully, and we train them to stay out of the road. But a big concern I've got is Amherst Street is really the best access I have to get home in the winter. If you're familiar or not, it starts at Richmond Ave. About 20 years ago, they put in 2 stop signs on the flat part of Richmond Ave. They're 1 block apart, and that slows the traffic down a lot. So that's good for the neighborhood down there if they had any issues with it. But the problem is you hit the hill at that second stop sign, and you have to go up, I'd say it's about 100 feet, and it's pretty steep. And because you have to stop at that second stop sign, you can't really get going. And the most I think I've been able to reach is 15 or 20 miles an hour up the hill, and I just barely make it up over the hill. My concern is I'm not going to make it. I'm assuming because I don't think there can be a speed bump on that flat part with 2 stop signs. But whoever petitioned for this, if they're considering putting it on the hill, myself and about a dozen other houses, and then there's a neighborhood higher than us, we're going to be seriously impacted by winter travel. Going up is going to be a nightmare. Coming down is in itself always scary. One of the best things is cars can't park on one side of the road. I've lived in Worcester all my life on hills, and to get down a hill, it's a good idea, be quick, to go down the curb very carefully. You turn into the curb. I've done it dozens of times. I've never broken a tire. But I'm concerned, I don't want to abandon, I'm going into my 70s, as is my wife. There's many elderly living up there. I don't want to abandon my car, walk a couple hundred yards uphill in the ice and snow. That would put me at great risk.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the first person I can identify remotely is Diane Mulligan. I just sent a request to unmute.
Hi, this is Diane Mulligan. I live on the corner of Amherst Street and Longworth Road, which we just talked about a minute ago. And I definitely share the concerns about the speeding. People drive way too fast. Longworth Road and Amherst Street are both very big hills. Traffic goes very, very fast. We recently had an accident at the corner of Amherst Street and Longworth Road with a delivery truck and a car. So I'm 100% in favor of speed calming measures. I think that's really important. But I do share the previous gentleman's concern about speed bumps on the hill. I live right at the crest of the hill. I can envision sitting on my porch and watching a lot of Dukes of Hazzard style cars getting launched off speed bumps as they head down the hill. And in the winter, we witness all the cars that can't get up the hill because they usually get right about to my driveway. So getting up the hill in the winter is a huge problem already. So I'm 100% for speed calming, but maybe not speed bumps.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the next person I can identify as a phone user. I just sent a request for them to unmute.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
We can.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was trying to unmute for the Maybell Street, which was the previous one. May I speak?
You may.
Okay. My name is Susan Martin. I'm at 32 Maybell Street, and along with my husband, Stephen. We've lived here for 26 years, and I am against the speed humps. I also don't think that there's really a hazard. There is some traffic here, but I've never seen an accident or seen anything that would be considered dangerous. And I've also been in touch with my other neighbors, and I've asked various members of Maybell Street, number 39, number 36, number 33, number 30, number 16, number 18, and number 45, and they all are against the speed bump on Maybell Street. Just don't think we need it. It's a very short stretch, and we're against it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No one else is raising their hand, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Hi, my name is John Brissett. I live at 55 Amherst Street in Worcester. I didn't realize I've been in the city so long. I've been here 33 years and raised 2 children in that neighborhood. We have 2 stop signs. I'm at the corner of Kennicott and Amherst Street. That's where my home is. And we have a stop sign there. And there's another stop sign a little bit further down on, I believe it's Vassar and Amherst. I'm opposed to speed bumps on Amherst Street. I don't know where you would put them. I agree with the previous speaker on the hill. It would be awful trying to get up that hill with a speed bump or coming down. I can see cars coming down and just flying over those, and then people park their cars on the side of the street. It's not a very wide street, and I think people would go over those bumps and maybe hit other cars. What I would suggest is on the 2 stop signs that we have, putting the lighting, if we could put lighting on there to let people know that the stop sign is there. Sometimes they don't see it. There is speeding on the street. I don't necessarily, there is speeding, but I don't believe a speed bump will work there. The only place that would work would be in between the Vassar and the Richmond Ave, and that stretch is not that long. So I don't see what could do. I will say, before we got notice on this, there was police presence there, and the city made quite a bit of money on people going through that stop sign at the corner of my house. I work from home, and my office is right outside my front window, and you put some law enforcement, traffic enforcement there, people will stop at those stop signs. So I just thank you for that, and Jenny, good luck with your future endeavors. Sad to see you go, but thank you it's been a long meeting. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for staying with us. Okay. So should we go to 4A?
Certainly, Madam Chair. 4A,
You don't have
speed
to be-
hump petitions for District 4. Ariel Mercado requests installation of speed hump in front of 23 Freeland Street by the crosswalk.
Okay, do we have anybody remote for that item?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, B,
Mallory Shelley requests installation of speed humps on Merrick Street.
okay, anybody remote?
No, Madam Chair.
C,
Gustavo Dunez requests installation of temporary speed humps on Ellsworth Street.
anybody remote?
Yes, Madam Chair. The first person I can identify is Mark. Just sent a request for Mark to unmute. Mark? Mark, you're unmuted. Madam Chair, I can't get through to Mark.
Okay, D,
Councilor Louis A. Ojeda requests installation of speed humps in the vicinity of 21 Ellsworth Street.
anybody virtual?
So the first person I can identify, let's see, that's Mark again, still can't get through to him. No, Madam Chair.
Okay, E,
Ismael Reyes requests installation of speed humps on Beacon Street between Hammond Street and Boys and Girls Club Way.
okay, come on up to the mic. Sure.
Hi, my name is Ismail Reyes. I live at 179, been there for 20-something years. And these cars are all bypassing Main and come racing down Beacon. So I think maybe a couple of speed bumps, like in front of before you get to my house, because once you get to my house, you can hear them, they're winding out. And another one before Ripley, something like that, because they're going like 50 and 60 miles an hour down there.
Okay, thank you. Anybody remote? Oh, we have somebody else in the audience.
So I live right before him, and I'm just trying to understand where those would go, because that end of Beacon Street is a one-way. Like, the other end of Beacon Street is a two-way.
Right,
But
right.
then when you cross over Hammond and go on that side of Beacon Street, it's a one-way.
Right.
And I think if we just had better signs that say, do not enter, like sometimes cars come up the one way. So I think that's part of the problem maybe. But where would the
It's not
speed bumps
it
go?
wasn't specified.
Because it's a very short street after that end of Beacon
Right,
Street,
right.
the one-way part.
Yes.
So
I'm not sure. I think it's implying between Hammond and the Boys Club, so that's the lower part.
Right.
You know, and.
It's a short
yes,
stretch there.
I know. I actually grew up on 216 Bacon Street, so I know that area very well. I think it's also a cut-through. I think that's when people want to avoid Main Street.
Well, yeah, Main or Southbridge Street, yeah,
Right.
because they're one's on one side, one's on the other.
So I think it was just, but if you don't think it's necessary?
Well, I
or-
think if we probably had a there is a sign at the beginning of Hammond Street that says it's a one-way, but then when you come down Ripley Street, I think maybe there's a sign there that says do not enter, like if you're turning that way, but maybe, you know, if there's like more signs that say one way and do not enter, you know.
Okay, that's,
Like, it just seems like a
we're
short-
taking a lot to tonight, so
Yeah, it
this is
just
really
seems
good.
like a short stretch there, like I don't know.
Well, good input, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do we have anybody virtual?
Madam Chair, I just sent a request for Mike K to unmute. Mike? Madam Chair, not hearing Mike. That is everyone.
So can we go to F?
Peter Mutiga requests installation of a speed hump in the vicinity of 29 Cambridge Street.
Do we have anybody virtual?
Just found Peter. Just sent a request.
Yes, greetings, Madam Chair, and the rest of the City Council. My name is Peter, and I'm a Worcester resident, and I am for advocating for some kind of intervention, either speed bump or a speed table. I am a graduate student of Worcester State nursing program, and my concentration was built environment, and research has shown that speed bumps and speed tables significantly reduce vehicle speeds, making streets safer for all users, especially children and pedestrians. Studies show that the installation of speed bumps is associated with a 53 to 60% reduction in injuries or deaths among children struck by vehicles, and a general 40% speed reduction for most vehicles. So also the other issue I'm having or observing is that there is a disparity in the way the speed bumps or speed tables are being implemented in the city of Worcester. There appears to be an allocation of speed bumps or speed tables among richer neighborhoods and neglecting the poorer neighborhoods, of which also there are accidents that are happening. So please address this, and I am thankful for your time.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, that's everyone.
Okay, G?
Doug Clark requests installation of speed humps on Ashmont Ave.
Good long evening, everyone. How are you today?
Good.
Thank you for hearing me. I'm here about getting speed humps or speed bumps on Ashmont Ave. I recently was almost hit by a car crossing the street from my handicap spot to my house. There's been 3 animals that have been killed just this past year. 2 motor vehicle accidents, one on Harding in Ashmont, the other one at, I believe it was Old Millbury in Ashmont. People come around the bend right around number 6 Ashmont very quickly to speed up just to go to the stop sign at the end of Quincy. And it's just very dangerous. My neighbor, she fell, scraped her knee, and there were 3 cars that passed her before anyone stopped to help her. She's here to give her testimony as well. But that is all I have. If there's anything they can do, I don't think flashing signs, and there's no speed limit signs on the street whatsoever. And in the 3.5 years I've lived there, the only time the police have been on the street is when I've called for them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Diane Michelson. I live at 7 Ashmont. I was the one that he was talking about that fell trying to cross the street. As I'm laying there bleeding with my dog, that's also handicapped, people just went flying by us. It's just that it's a really dangerous street to try to cross. It's really sad that you can't even like walk your dog without, like you have to find the right time to cross. And when you can't really walk very fast, it's really difficult to cross.
Thank you for your testimony. AJ, do we have anybody virtual?
Not at this time, Madam Chair.
Okay, H?
Jacqueline Graham-Patero et al. Request installation of speed humps on Mason Street.
Anybody virtual?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, aye.
Councilor Louis A. Ojeda requests installation of speed humps on Hitchcock Road.
Come on up.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for your time.
State your name, please.
Francis Rosolo, 12 Hitchcock Road. I was surprised to get this in the mail, but I was happy to see it. I've lived at 12 Hitchcock Road 33 years. Before that, I lived on the island. I knew Mr. Pottle's father and uncles, which I recently got back in touch with. It's nice when I see your name. You are related. Well, anyways, I've lived there 33 years. Accident or two every year in front of my house. It's a hill from Freeland down to Main Street, and they speed down it very fast. Now, so must be an accident every year in front of my house. I'm sure there is many more down the road. Now, Cambridge Street backs up. My wife used to work there at Price Chopper. I'm sure they closed it because of the traffic. They come flying up Haynes, and then they hit Hitchcock fast because I'm sure they don't want to get caught. Well, the kids all play basketball right there in the corner. The kids down from the brick buildings, they come up there. There's nowhere to play. They play in the corner of Haynes and Hitchcock. Out my front window, the cops play with them a lot. They stop. They treat them good. They catch cars speeding. So I appreciate their presence, but they fly. Someone's going to eventually get hit. I'm going to Hitchcock and Haynes. There are a lot of kids from the brick buildings, as I said. That's pretty much it. So I agree with it. I live at 12, and that's where it bends a lot. And like I said, 1-2 cars a year in front of my house get hit. They fly down that hill. So I'd appreciate it. I'm thankful. And so, I do have some of my neighbors signed to call me quick. A lot of them seem to be sick tonight. A lot had little kids, but I'd like to leave
We
their
can take
names
that
with
into
you guys.
testimony. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, and
Thank you.
I believe you have a few on virtual call too, I hope. God bless. I get up at
Thank you.
midnight for work, so.
Thank you. Do we have anybody on virtual?
Madam Chair, the first person I can find virtually, the phone number ends in 7170. Just sent a request to unmute now. Thank you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
You can, yes.
Hi, this is Debbie Ryan. I live at 8 Hitchcock Road, too. And the cars are just terrible on this street. I have lived here for over 47 years, and I've never seen it so bad. They not only fly up the street, like Freddie said, they fly down the street, too. I'm actually afraid to get out of my own driveway because of the way the cars come down so fast. And I think they use us as a bypass, too. The motorcycles go up and down and the cars. It's just really sad. But I definitely want the speed bumps if we can get them.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Hey.
Madam Chair, that's everyone raising their hand.
Okay, can you read 5A, please, for me?
Transmitting informational communication relative to 2025 speed hump installations.
Okay, so I just want to say a couple things. First of all, this was a very excellent meeting, a lot of good advice. I saw that Commissioner Raleigh was taking a lot of notes. My colleagues were taking a lot of notes. I think it's important to have these forums where we can express ourselves as a community because you live on these streets. And so it's really good that we had a multitude of people in some of these streets expressing for and against because there's a lot of different angles. And I heard some really interesting suggestions too, and I saw Commissioner Raleigh at this corner of my eye writing things down. So like, said, well, we could use this or this. So I think it's important, and I think it was well worth the almost 3 hours we were here. And I appreciate everybody that stayed with us, to be able to voice their concerns for or against the speed hump or speed table in the neighborhood. That being said, and thank everybody else for staying with us as well. So my motion will be to file 3A to 3Z, 3AA to double J, 4A to I, and 5A. Roll call, please.
Madam Chair, if I could just ask for clarification, what's the purpose of filing these? Just to send it back to committee or no
Well,
action?
What, the action is going to be that that we listened, we took notes, and now it's up to the district councilor, whether it's Jenny or it's Tony, whoever is going to take this on to discuss with Commissioner Raleigh and come up with a plan based on what, how many we can put in, and also through the testimony is going to weigh a lot. So then the action item is to file these, so then they can be addressed. So my motion will be to file.
Councilors King,
No.
Pasillo,
Yes.
and Chairperson Councilor Gloria.
Yes. Okay. So thank you, everyone. We're at the end of the meeting, and I appreciate everybody that stayed this long. And, can we have a closing of the meeting adjournment? Roll call.
Councilors King,
Yes.
Pasillo,
Yes.
and Chairperson Councilor Gloria.
Thank you.